Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the From 9 to 5 to Remotely webinar. It's good to see everyone here. Welcome. It's exactly 5 p.m. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? If you can hear me in the chat box, please drop your name, drop where you are joining in from, tell us what you do. I want to see some engagement in the chat box. Welcome everyone. Tell us your name, tell us what you do, and tell us where you are joining in from. You never can tell. Your clients could be here. Your clients could be here. Your business partner could be here. So you better open your mouth and start talking. Talk to me in the comments. Welcome, Ijoma. So good to have you here too. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're joining in from. Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Safia is joining. Safia, thanks for joining. Nigeria. Who is joining us from Pretoria, South Africa? Henry is joining us from Lagos, Nigeria. Nice. And he works as a marketer in a bank. Nice to meet you, Henry. Irene is joining us from Anambra State. Wow, okay, nice. Excited to be here too, Good to see everyone. Tell me where you are joining in from, what you do. Your client could be here, your business partner could be here. Welcome everyone. So, I'm going to do everything within my power not to waste your time. This is the From 9 to 5 to Remotely webinar, and the From 9 to 5 to Remotely webinar was inspired by an event. So I'll just give you a backstory. Please, if at any point in time, if you cannot hear me, please just drop it in the comment section. My assistant Esther will take care of that. If you have any questions as we go on during this session, please drop it in the chat box, and Esther will do well to respond to you. Thank you so much. So the From 9 to 5 to Remotely webinar was inspired by a particular event. And I'll just give you the backstory and tell you how this event came about or what happened. Welcome, Joanne. Ubi is joining in from Abuja, Nigeria. Joanne is a nurse. Nice to have you, Joanne. Welcome. I can see your comments in the chat box. So keep telling us where you are joining in from. Keep telling us where you are joining in from, what you do. So I'll just go on with the backstory. If you are in Nigeria, you remember that subsidy was taken off, our fuel prices went up and all of that. And on this particular day, I was supposed to go from, if you know Abuja very well, I was supposed to go from Kubwa to Wuse 2 in Abuja. It's kind of a distance for those who do not live in Abuja. And when I tried to request a ride on Bolt, I saw 5,000 naira for a ride that used to be between 2,300 and I think about 2,500 naira. But immediately the subsidy was taken out, the prices skyrocketed. And I just thought to myself that day saying, what a perfect time to be working from home, because I mean, those who have to go to their office places every day, those who have to resume work every day, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they intend to do it. I don't know how they are coping. But I just said to myself, what an amazing time to be working from home. And I went on to, I posted that on my WhatsApp status, and I asked people who were interested in me sharing my journey of how I transitioned from a 9 to 5 to working remotely. And a ton of people indicated interest and all of that. And then that was what brought about this webinar. So you are here now. Welcome, and welcome to the From 9 to 5 to Remotely webinar. My aim is simple. All I intend to do during this webinar is to inspire you. Remember that we have two other creators. We have Temilola Otunla and we have Comfort SN, who would be taking sessions during this webinar. And I promise you, you are going to have the best of time. You are going to leave here with maximum knowledge. You are going to leave here with a lot of information. You are going to leave here with a lot of knowledge. You'll be excited that you joined this webinar. So my aim is simple. Our aim is first to inspire you with our stories. We'll be telling you our stories of how we transitioned from 9 to 5 to working remotely, the challenges we encountered, the things that we did, the specific things that we did at certain points in time, so that you could pick 1 or 2 points, 1 or 2 lessons, and you could also replicate them in your own life or your own journey. The second aim of this webinar is to help you to decide on what skills to acquire. There are a ton of skills you can acquire. There are a lot of things you can do to begin to earn from home, to begin to work remotely, to begin to build a remote career, basically. It's not just about working remotely, but I mean, working remotely in a way that it pays off in the future. Working remotely in a way that you are able to build a career that when you look back, you'll be able to tell people, this is what I do, this is the track record I have, this is what I have been doing, and this is what I hope to achieve. So our second aim is to help you to decide on what skills to acquire. A third aim of this webinar is to help you to actually begin building your remote career. We are also going to be empowering you with resources. We're going to be sharing a lot of resources. We'll be sharing a lot of links on the group. If you haven't joined the group, please indicate in the comment section or in the chat box so that Esther can add you up to the group right away. So I'll start by telling you my own story. I am currently a content strategist and a copywriter. I write copy for a couple of companies. The prominent one is Vesti. If you haven't heard about Vesti before, Vesti is a fintech company that helps you migrate from Africa, basically, to different parts of the world, especially for the purpose of education. But then I'll go on to tell you how I became a copywriter for Vesti and, start to build my career as a content strategist. This all began in 2020. I used to work as an executive assistant, or let me say an office assistant, doing a lot of things, typing, photocopying, and all of that. That was basically my job description at the time. I was working as an executive assistant in a construction and project management firm. At the time, my salary was 60,000 naira. And I live a very economical life. I don't party, I don't keep late nights, I don't drink, I don't smoke. My life is very predictable. And at the time, I thought I was doing well because 60,000 naira. All I needed the money for was transportation. I'll go to work and I'll feed. I was living alone, so it wasn't so much of a stress. So I just thought I was doing okay. And I remember that I whenever I wanted to pay my rent, what I used to do was I would take a loan from the bank and basically spread it across a year. I'll take a loan from the bank, I'll pay my rent, and then spread it across a year. They'll remove it gradually from my salary. They'll remove it in installments. And it wasn't really a pain. It wasn't really a pain because they were not removing the money in bulk. So I thought, I was doing fine. I was doing well. I'll be patient. With time, things will get better. I wasn't complaining. And then the lockdown hit. When the lockdown hit, welcome, Christopher. I can see Christopher. Christopher, welcome. You're joining me from Abiam. Welcome. Good to see everyone here. So back to my story. When the lockdown hit, I was at home and I remember that I was still being paid my salary. I was being paid, the first month I was still being paid 60,000 naira. And all I did basically was, wake up, watch movies, read a few books here and there. I was just keeping my money. I wasn't using it for anything specific or anything tangible. So I thought to myself, I was thinking, I'm still rich. And then the second month, I remember that I was paid half. So gradually reality began to set in and I began to think, so I can actually lose this job. we start to see threats at the time. If you can remember the lockdown, who can remember their experiences during the lockdown? Please drop your experiences in the comments, in the chat box. I remember that time we're hearing a lot of news about people in the United States who had lost their job and all of that. And it was looking like it may never come home or it may never happen to you. I mean, I felt my job was secure until the second month when they paid me half salary. And I'm like, hey, if they paid me half salary this time around, next month, who knows what will happen? I kept I kept hope alive, but a bit of fear had already set in. And, I think the third month or the fourth month, I can't remember how long the lockdown lasted for, but we then resumed work. We resumed work and I noticed that prices of things skyrocketed. My transportation doubled. House rent, the increased house rent, feeding allowance doubled, and then the actual worry started to set in. I was so worried that whenever I come back from work at the time, I'll sit down for hours just thinking about my life, thinking about what could happen, how worse can it get, So every morning I go to work, I'll think I was just disturbed. And as if, God just wanted something miraculous to happen in my life, I started getting tired of so many other things. I mean, I started making mistakes at my job, probably because I was already thinking about, how I was going to cope in the future and all of that. And I started making very silly mistakes on my job. My boss was complaining, and then I was getting more frustrated. I also started to get frustrated about the fact that I had to wake up every morning at 5 a.m. I mean, if you're living in Lagos people cannot relate to the fact that I wake up at 5 a.m. If I say I wake up at 5 a.m., Lagos people will be like, am I a joke to you? I know a friend in Lagos who says he has to set out of his house by 4 a.m. I mean, you have to set out of your house by 4 a.m. So how many hours you guys have to sleep? But anyway, I started getting tired of the fact that I had to wake up every morning at 5 a.m. and, sit in a bit of traffic, go to work, come back. I like to read books. I like to read a lot of books. I like to read books, but I didn't have the time. And it was seeming like my life wasn't as productive as I wanted it to be. And then I started to think, is this how my life is just going to be? I studied physics in the university. And, there's this perception about people who studied certain courses. This is not to talk down on anyone's course, but whenever I told people that I studied physics in the university, they used to expect more. I mean, he studied physics. Why are you working as an office assistant? You studied physics. Why are you, working as an executive assistant? You could be more and all of that. So it started growing more frustrating. And then I started to ask myself, can I actually build a career path as an office assistant? In the next 5 years, what would happen to me if I sit down here and, just keep waiting for a miracle to happen? So I started thinking. I was doing a lot of deep thinking, asking questions. What can I do? Jeff Bezos, he doesn't have two heads. He doesn't have two heads. Steve Harvey doesn't have two heads. Let's bring it down to Nigeria. Steve Harris doesn't have two heads. These people do not have two heads, and they are making a lot of money. What did they do? Not all of them came from wealthy homes. Not all of them had some kind of big amount of money that they fell back to start up their business. Not all of them was giving money like Dangote. I mean, there's something that I, Susan, can do to make my life better, to increase my earning capacity. I mean, I could be better than 60,000 naira. These were the questions that I kept asking myself. So one day I sat down at my office. We're going to be telling a lot of stories in this webinar. Please, I want you to pay attention because you'll get a lot of information in between the stories or from the stories. You'll be getting a lot of information from the stories. So let's just keep chatting. So I remember that on this particular day, I sat down in the office and I was thinking. And so a thought just crossed my mind and said, Susan, start by acquiring a skill. That was the thought that just came to my mind. And I'm like, okay, acquire a skill. So I went on Google and I checked. I searched for the top 10 most sought after skills in the world. That was the first thing that I did. The top 10 most sought after skills in the world was what I searched for. And I saw this blog post that came up with a series of skills. Among the skills were copywriting, data analysis, AI, machine language, digital marketing, and all of that. And I said, okay, I have to be a millionaire. If not even a millionaire, I have to be a billionaire. I have to make money. So where do we start from? And I decided to pick a course on AI. So, I went on the same Google, I checked for free courses on AI. And I saw a particular course. I cannot remember the course exactly, but I know I studied a course on AI. And I couldn't continue. It was kind of confusing, or let me say I was not interested. I dumped the course on AI. And then I moved on to machine language. I started a course on machine language, and 2 weeks into the course, I was like, I don't understand the English these people are speaking here. I need to move. Machine language is not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the weak. And so, I moved from machine language to digital marketing. Lucky for me, or, I got lucky. The particular blog that I was reading at the time had linked a course, a free digital marketing course. So I just clicked on the link and it redirected me to a free digital marketing course. And so I started taking the course. The first course was Fundamentals of Digital Marketing on Google Digital Skills for Africa. It was a free course and it had a certification. And so I started taking the course, and thank God it was in plain English, so I could understand easily. And, it seemed interesting. And I said, okay, I think that I could start to build a career in digital marketing or something. And, in the course, they talked a lot about building your business, putting your business online, putting yourself out there, personal branding, and a lot of things. Now, when I started taking the course, what I did was that I went on WhatsApp and I started talking about I started talking about the course. I started talking about, telling people, oh, I'm taking this course right now. I can't wait to see where this course is going to lead me to, blah, 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 and all of that. I just kept waiting. I kept talking about the course. And when I finished the course, or before I finished the course, whatever I learned on the course, I went on WhatsApp, I went on Facebook, and I was making posts telling people, I'm currently taking this course. My certification exam is coming up at so time. Please pray for me. I was just basically talking about it. And so on this particular day, someone who saw my WhatsApp status the person was a church member at the time. The person reached out to me and said, Susan, I currently have a client whom I'm doing some photography for and video editing for. The person owns a new store here in Abuja, and I want the person is looking for somebody to run ads for them. And then I just jumped on it, and I was like, I'm going to run ads for the person. Bear in mind, I had not done anything like that in the past. They had only talked a little about ads during the digital marketing course. And so I took on the role. I think at the time I charged the client 8,000 naira. To tell you that I did not even know anything about ads at the time, I think the 8,000 naira was both for the ad spend and my service fee. I don't even know how I did that. I don't even know how I don't know how I charged that. I mean, I didn't know anything about running ads. Anyway, back to the story. And well, after running the ads for the person, I flopped. The business flopped. But I still kept talking about it, and I started telling the person, I told the person who had referred me at the time that it was not just about ads. She needed, the owner of the store needed to put herself out there on social media, needed to create content and all of that. And the person said, Susan, pitch yourself to the person, to the woman. Tell her that you can help her with social media management. Remember that when I started to take the course on digital marketing, people had talked about social media management. Digital marketing comprises of a lot of things, comprises of online marketing, comprises of copywriting, email marketing, social media management, social media marketing, and all of that. And so, I was beginning to develop a certain level of confidence. I was beginning to get confidence in the things that I could do. And so I mentioned to her that I could do social media management for her. I want to be sure that you are hearing me. If you can hear me, please drop in the chat box that you can hear me. If you're following my story, please drop in the chat box. Tell me you are following my story. I want to be sure that I'm not talking to myself. I want to be sure that I am not just speaking to myself. Let me know in the chat box if you are following. Let me know in the chat box if you can hear me. Following the story. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. Following the story. Okay. Okay, so I'll go on with my story. And I pitched myself to her. By pitching myself, I just basically told her, ma'am, you need to begin to put yourself out here on social media. I could help you. You need to post pictures of your products, because if you run ads and people click to see your page, what would they see on your page? They wouldn't be able to tell. Remember, it was a new store, so she had no online presence. And so she agreed. And then we started to negotiate, and she agreed to pay me 35,000 naira. And so when she agreed to pay me 35,000 naira, I was amazed, because I wasn't sure anybody could want to pay me anything. I mean, I was earning 60,000 naira. So 35,000 naira extra seemed like, I was super excited about 35,000 naira extra. I was super excited that somebody else could, want to pay me an extra 35,000 naira. And so we started, and then we signed like a 2-month contract and started working together. And I was so excited. 30K, I was already beginning to feel like I was balling. Anyway, like I mentioned, I kept talking about what I was doing, especially on my WhatsApp status, because at the time I only had a personal Instagram page. I wasn't even confident enough to talk about these things on my Instagram page. So I just kept talking about them on my WhatsApp status. And so a few weeks later, another friend of mine reached out to me, who is a makeup artist. She wasn't really a friend anyway. She was a classmate in secondary school. She reached out to me and said, Susan, I have been seeing everything you've been posting on your WhatsApp status, and I want you to help me put my business out here on social media. In her words, I quote, I don't care what it is you do. Don't fill me with the details. I know you are super smart and intelligent. Just come and take the money and do what you need to do. That was what she said. And I'm like, oh, wow. You mean somebody can want to give me money? And so, we signed another deal. Let me call it a deal anyway. We signed another deal of 30,000 naira monthly. And, I started to put her out there on social media. Now, at the time, I had finished my fundamentals of digital marketing course. So after taking on these two people and realizing that I needed more knowledge, I was flopping on the jobs. They were not getting the followers that they wanted. They were not getting the visibility that they wanted. I was basically just posting because, fundamentals of digital marketing alone was not enough to give me what I wanted, or to give them, it was not enough for me to deliver what they wanted. So I decided to take a break, and then I paid for a one-on-one coaching session with another creator. Now, after paying for the one-on-one coaching session with that creator, that was where the change came in. I became extra confident. Please mute yourself as you come in. Thank you. I became extra confident. I then started to talk. At the time when I took the one-on-one coaching, I then created my business page. My business page used to be the Social Media Prodigy, a name like that. But I changed, not recently anyway, but I changed it to Run with Susan. So, I started to put myself out there as Run with Susan. I was putting myself out there telling business owners how to put themselves on social media, how to do business on social media, and all of that. Constantly posting content, but nobody was coming. I wasn't getting any other clients apart from the 2 clients that I had. And I think 3 months down the line, oh, sorry, I'm missing something out. When I was taking the coaching session, the one-on-one coaching session, at the end of the week, this creator used to put myself and other creators together, and then we ask questions, and then she will respond to our questions. While I was taking the coaching, somebody reached out to me and said, Susan, I want you to work as a community manager for my agency, my brand, blah, 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 and all of that. And I took on the job, and I worked as a community manager for, I think, a year plus. Also down the line, as I kept putting myself out there, somebody reached out to me. All these people are people that I know. Somebody reached out to me and said, Susan, there was some time ago you sent your CV to me, and I saw that you are a copywriter. Remember that I had not taken any course on copywriting. I just assumed that copywriting was all about, writing copy, writing text. Copywriting is about writing copy, is about the text you write is copy. The video script you write is copy. Your WhatsApp status, the text you write on your WhatsApp status is copy. So I just told myself, oh, why not? I could do copywriting. And she said, there's this friend of mine who has an app, just created an application, and the person is looking for someone to write the frequently asked questions part of the app. And I'm like, that's something I can do. So I quickly went on Google again, and I checked, okay, how to write FAQs. And, I started. Anyway, the person I wrote those FAQs for at the time is still the CEO of Vesti. If you want to know about Vesti, Esther is going to drop the link in the group, the WhatsApp group, so you can check them out to see what they're about and to see the branch they're about. And so we kept on working. I was working personally with the CEO until he onboarded me and said, okay, I want you to be our copywriter. And that was it for me. Now, if you paid attention to my story, you would pick out a few points. If you paid attention to my story, you will pick out a few points. Apart from this story, apart from these points I have on the screen, I want you to let me know the few points that you have picked out from my story. I want to be sure I am not just speaking to myself. I want you to let me know the few points you have picked from my story. Let me know in the chat box the few points you have picked from this story. Has this story inspired you? What lessons did you learn? I want to see the few points you have picked from this story. If you paid attention, you would asking critical questions, being ready to learn as much as possible. Joanne, thank you. Yes, asking critical questions. Henry says, start by acquiring a viable skill. Perfect. Ladi T says, you are confident and put yourself out there. Sophia says, being honest with ourselves to know when we aren't achieving results. Rema. Adeayo says, consistency, learning a skill, learning on the job. In fact, we're going to talk about this learning on the job. We're going to really diffuse this learning on the job. Esther says, yes, it has inspired me, believe in yourself. We are going to talk about learning on the job because learning on the job is one thing. Not wanting to learn on the job or not wanting to flop on the job is one reason why a lot of people have refused to put themselves out there. Anyway, so let's move on. The points you all gave, sharing your journey in the course of learning a skill. Perfect, Henry. Perfect. Constantly putting yourself out there, not succumbing to imposter syndrome. Yes, imposter syndrome is a thing. Googling for tasks you knew nothing about. Christopher, thank you. In fact, one of my favorite quotes, or I think I'll call it a quote anyway, is by Austin Kleon, the person that wrote Still Like an Artist. And Austin Kleon says something. He says, Google everything. Never ask a question without Googling it first. When you Google everything, you will either find an answer or you'll find a better way to ask the question. You know how you ask questions and they'll be like, can't you Google it? I mean, this is basic knowledge that everybody should ask. So Google. Anyway, back to the key points to note. The key points that I picked from the story is, somebody mentioned in the chat box, ask questions and do not settle. People who know me personally know that I am always aspiring for more. I don't lack contentment, but I hardly settle. I believe that there is more. One of the things I always do is to go online and ask Google, what is the highest fit a content strategist can ever attain? I ask questions, weird questions like that. Timothy Ibrahim says, consistency is the key. I'm really inspired. Thank you. I'm glad my story inspired you. So anyway, back to our key points. I always, ask Google weird questions like that, and you'll be amazed to know that you are going to find responses on Google. You are going to find answers. So I kept asking questions, and questions, you can ask other people questions or ask yourself questions. I ensured I was always asking myself questions, questioning what I was doing. Is this the best I can do? How can I get to make more money for myself? Ask questions. One of the, not the most anyway, but one of the most important tools in my one of my most important coaching program. Whenever the coach used to ask us a lot of questions, laptop in front of me, and type immediately. A lot of people during the coaching program were guru. Oh, can you hear me now? Please let me know if you can hear me. Thank you. Welcome back. Thank you. This is, if you can see my screen, to let me. In. If you can see my screen, Okay, I just need. So back to our points. As the time, I found them on Google. Answers to my questions, I found them on Google. The clients I worked with, the problems I had with them, or the challenges that I encountered, I found. A third point heard me mention was that, oh, I forgot to mention that I looked for social media accounts of people doing the things similar to what I wanted to do. So before what I did was that I went on Instagram, I went on Facebook, I went on social media platforms, I went on LinkedIn to find people who were doing things that I wanted to do. Digital market managers. And I taking advantage of the lockdown to build. And in fact, that was during the lockdown. However, the day you realize it is your morning. If you are realizing it today, your morning starts today. Your breakthrough starts today. Let's talk like we are in a church session. Anyway, to our people doing the thing. The first thing is that I took are expensive. Attain the height or the fit that you want in life, you would have to pay for things. You would have to pay other people to coach you. You have to pay for one-on-one sessions. You will have to invest money in yourself. I tell people that knowledge can be cheap, but knowledge is not free. Even the things we call free courses are not really free courses because you have to spend time. You have to spend data. So it's not free in itself. The only thing is you are not paying for the service of taking the course, but you have to pay with your time. So nothing is actually free in itself. Anyway, I took free courses online. Another point is that I intentionally put myself out there, AKA open your mouth. That was why I started this session by saying, tell us your name, tell us what you do, and tell us where you are joining in from. It was very intentional because I have joined live sessions, I have joined Zoom sessions where the person had said, somebody's mic is not, okay, I have muted that. Oh, Joy says, I can see your fine face. Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you. I have joined sessions where I was able to just connect with people by telling them what I did or what I do, by just telling them my name. Whenever you leave this, when you leave this session and you join any other live, if the host, the anchor, the moderator tells you, please drop your name in the chat box, tell us where you are joining in from, tell us what you do, just say something in the chat box. Please don't keep quiet. In this age and time, if you don't talk, nobody is going to know. Nobody is going to know what you do if you don't open your mouth and speak. You have to talk. You have to tell people what you can do. You have to tell people what you're about. Now, there are a lot of things in people's mind, and if you don't talk, they may never remember you. So you have to talk. I made noise on WhatsApp. If you have my personal contacts, Esther has my personal contacts. I have friends here who are on the session. You will notice that I don't keep quiet. On Facebook, I am posting. On Instagram, I am posting. I am on every social media platform. I may not be active on every social media platform, but I have social media presence at least. Once in a while, I hop in on Twitter and drop a few things. I have gotten clients from Twitter. I have gotten tons of clients from Instagram. I have turned down clients from Instagram. I have gotten clients from LinkedIn. I have gotten clients. I remember the first day I posted my first video on Facebook. I got 8, was it 8? Yes, I got 8 strategy sessions. I got 8 people who booked for my strategy session. I just posted my first video. I didn't even know that, I could post. I didn't think of posting my video on my personal page. I just posted on my business page. But I just thought, let me put myself out there on my personal page. And I got 8 people who reached out to me. So open your mouth and talk. I'm going to tell you how to open your mouth and talk, and the resources that you need, I'll be sharing with you as we go on in this life. And the last thing is that I paid for a one-on-one coaching session. Don't ever see the money you are paying for sessions as a waste of money. The only thing I would advise you to do is that whenever you want to pay for sessions, ensure that the person has track record. Ensure that the person has the capacity or the capability to deliver what you want them to deliver. Don't just pay for sessions blindly, but you have to pay for sessions. If you know you really want to build a remote career, you know you want to develop yourself, you will need to go beyond just taking free courses. Now, let's move on to the top skills you can acquire. I've said a lot or enough about myself. So let's move on to the top skills you can acquire. You can acquire content creation skills, and content creation skills has to do with, video creation, graphics creation, text creation, and the likes. So you can acquire content creation skills. Content creators make a lot of money. You are a content creator already, whether you post on Instagram or you have a business page or not, you're already a content creator. The pictures you post on WhatsApp is content. The text messages you send to your friend, the emails you send to all those companies is content. So you are already a content creator. All you need to do is to package it properly in a way that it can pay you. So content creation is a skill. Copywriting, I'm a copywriter, and copywriting is what pays me the most. I like to write copy because copy comes to me easily. When it came, I think I had it as a bit of a talent, because I started writing things that got recognized while I was still in primary school. I wrote essays that got recognized outside the school. Secondary school, I wrote essays that took me to embassies and all of that. However, I had to, hone the skill. I had to take courses. I had to read books. If you look behind me, you'll find books. Most of these books that you can see up there are books that have to do with content creation, copywriting, sales, marketing. I don't stop buying books. I read a lot of books about marketing, about, copy and all of that. Blogging is a skill that you can acquire. Bloggers earn a lot of money. Graphics design. My younger brother is a graphic designer, and that is basically what he feeds on. Graphic design. Web design and development, social media management. I started out as a social media manager. I was managing social Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts for business owners who are busy, or people who, have other things that they are currently doing and, do not even have the expertise. So I was managing for them before I evolved. Email marketing. I'm bringing my friend Comfort. She's going to be telling you about her own journey to being an email marketer and an email copywriter. Comfort works from home, earns a lot of money from just helping business owners to send emails. So she's going to be coming up next to tell you about how you can start a career in email marketing. Video editing, Facebook ads, creating content strategy for people. That is what I feed on: copywriting and content strategies. All I do basically is, when you reach out to me and you tell me, Susan, I want to put my business out there on social media. I want to put myself out there professionally on social media. I don't know what type of content to put out. I just basically tell you the type of content that will attract the people that will pay you. As a business owner, that is all I do. That is all I spend my time Googling. That is all I spend my time taking courses for, just to tell you the type of content that you should put out that would attract people to your personal brand, to your business. Some more skills: business development. There are people that don't know how to structure their business. There are people who have business ideas in their mind, but they don't know how to structure the business. They don't know what should happen, what they should include in their businesses. You can learn to be a business developer. Process automation. Now, you remember that when I announced about this webinar, there were a series of places that you would have found links, or you would have found posts about this webinar. I posted about it on my Instagram page. I posted about it on my Facebook page. I posted about it about, someone says we are not seeing your screen. Comfort, can you see my screen now? Oh, my voice is low. Sorry. Can you see my screen? We can't see it. That's strange. Okay, give me a second. You should be able to see my screen now. The network keeps acting up. Yes, thank you. You can see my screen. Thank you. Okay. So I'll go back just in case anyone missed anything. Top skills to acquire: content creation, copywriting, blogging, graphics design, website design or development, social media management, email marketing, video editing, Facebook ads, content strategy. Some more skills: business development, process automation. So I was talking about process automation. You remember that, I hope you can hear me clearly. Just let me know in the chat box and I'll pay attention. Thank you. Okay, Cordelia says you can see, you can hear me. Thank you. So you remember that you saw this you saw information about this webinar somewhere. Facebook, Instagram, somebody sent you a link and all of that. That's because my process was already automated. So I just created the webinar, I created the flyers. I just sent out the links and all of that, posted the links on different social media platforms, and I sat down and watched everybody come in and joined the WhatsApp group. That is process automation. Process automation in business also, automating processes, what happens afterwards. There are a lot of business owners or a lot of people. For example, you are a fashion designer and you have a physical fashion store, but you have an online presence. So I keep asking, as a fashion designer, when somebody sends you a DM, what happens next? There should be a process that people will follow, that is accurate, that will help you relax, that will show that your business is well structured. There are people who have developed expertise in this. I'm trying to rush because Comfort should come in by 6 p.m. Digital marketing, that was what I started with. Digital marketing has to do with anything digital, online marketing, email marketing, all the likes. Anything that has to be digital, anything that is digitalized is called digital marketing in layman terms. Brand management. Now, if you check my social media page, Esther is going to drop a link to my social media page because you're going to be receiving a lot of information on how to put yourself out there. So the earlier you follow, the better for you. If you check my social media page, once you come on the page, you are going to have a perception about me. Is it that you look at the page and say, this lady is not serious? Or you look at the page and be like, oh, okay, she knows what she's doing. Or you look at the page and say, okay, she's still coming up. That's a perception you have about me. What brand managers do is that they help you package your brand in a way that people can have the perception that you want them to have. When you hear Apple, you have a perception about Apple products. That's because they have packaged their brands in a way that, you see them as the go-to brand for tech. That is what people who do brand management are into. Data analysis. Data analysis was one of the courses that I attempted taking when I was starting out on my journey, but it was seeming expensive. So, and I couldn't afford it at the time. Transcribing. I topped up transcribing as a skill. What does transcribing mean? I transcribe video to text or audio to text. Somebody gives you an audio file and then you just type it out, into text, basically, and people are willing to pay you. People feed on transcribing. Proofreading and editing. In fact, this one, before I even started to build my brand, I was already doing proofreading and editing. I'll tell you, bring your project work to me. If you're writing a book, bring it to me and I'll sit down, I'll edit it, grammatical errors, punctuations, and all of that. People will pay you to proofread for them. Search engine optimization. When you go on Google and you go and search for a particular thing, Google brings you the most relevant content. That's because their blogs or their websites are optimized for search. So there are people who have, developed expertise in ensuring that your blogs, your social media pages are optimized for search. So that when I go, if you sell, if you're a baker, for example, in Abuja, and I go on Instagram and I search bakers in Abuja, it is the only reason why you will pop up is because your page has been optimized for search. You have done the right things. You have put the right things in place for your page to be optimized. PR and communications, social media influencing, you grow your followers to a certain level, and then people begin to pay you to market their products for them. Now, where can you acquire this skill? If you've not joined the WhatsApp group, Esther is going to drop a link to the WhatsApp group. You join in, because after this webinar, I'll be dropping a link to each of these places where you can acquire skills, all of these skills that I have mentioned. So you can acquire them from Google Skills Shop, Coursera. Coursera is my go-to for skill acquisition. YouTube is, I would say, the easiest or the most accessible. Let me put it that way. It is the most accessible. All you need is data, and you will find courses. You'll find a ton of information on YouTube. LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn has incorporated courses into the platform that you can take courses that are recognized all around the world. You can take courses on LinkedIn and begin to work with Microsoft, begin to work with Google from the comfort of your home. It is not a joke, or it is not a joke. And I'm not just saying this to keep you, to make you feel pumped. They are actual things that happen. The only thing is that you have not known about these things. EDX is a platform you can go and take courses from. Udacity, Class Central, HubSpot Academy. There are a lot of free courses on HubSpot Academy. I'll be posting the links to each and every of these platforms: Google Digital Garage, Microsoft Learn, and Harvard University online course. You can take courses from them. Some of the challenges that you may encounter: lack of discipline. Imagine that you have to take a course. Nobody is going to come and tell you, have you not taken this course? If you work a 9 to 5, if you don't deliver on a job, your boss can say, why have you not done this? People are there to keep you accountable. But when you want to begin working remotely, you have to keep yourself accountable. If you don't do it, in the next few years, you will see that you are going to just remain where you are. Now, what's the remedy for lack of discipline? Be accountable to somebody. I have people who always keep me in check. Susan, have you done this? Comfort is one of them. Temi is one of them. Susan, have you done this? Susan, have you applied to this company? Susan, have you put your CV together? And we keep ourselves, accountable. I reach out to Comfort. Comfort, have you done this? I have people who are serious within my circle because I want to make it. I want to blow. Don't you want to blow? I want to blow. So I have to take my life seriously. A second thing I do is that I plug myself into a team. And I use this also to build street credibility. I started to work as a freelancer. And, you could just sit, as a freelancer, you could just sit down and not be doing anything. So what I did was that I looked for companies that require both on-site workers and remote workers. Vesti, for example, has on-site workers in Lagos. They have on-site staff in Dallas, Texas. But I am just a part of the remote team. Now, with Vesti, my team lead every weekend comes and says, Susan, have you done this? I'm like, yes, I've done this. I've put it here, blah, 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 and all of that. So I have plugged myself to a team so that I can keep myself accountable. I know I have to deliver on a job. So I'm going to go and acquire this knowledge because I have to deliver on this job. If not, I'm not going to get paid. Another thing is that you should set goals for yourself. When you set goals for yourself and you take it one step at a time, you will be able to achieve what you need to do. Another thing you may encounter is the feeling of uncertainty, forgive me, and imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is that thing that makes you feel like you are not worthy to be doing the things that you are doing, or that you are not worthy to be receiving the accolades. That feeling that makes you feel, hey, if I post this thing on social media now, my voice is sounding like this. Hey, if I post this thing on social media now, won't they say, what's this one even saying? If I post this thing on social media now, hey, my face is this type of way. Hey, is imposter syndrome, and it is all up in your head. It is imposter syndrome, and it is all up in your head. Say no to imposter syndrome. How do you say no to imposter syndrome? First of all, you need to understand that everyone goes through this, even experts. Even experts. Laditi says imposter syndrome, no to you. Accountability, Joy says this accountability partner thing, I really don't have friends. How do you do this? By in the group, let them add you to the WhatsApp group. Look for an accountability partner in the group. Go and post it there. The same thing we talk about talking, post it there and ask who wants an accountability partner. And don't be an accountability partner that does not do the task. Check up on yourself, ask yourself, set goals for yourself, share it with each other, and ask yourself, have you done this? Have you done that? I'm trying to rush up because comfort is supposed to come in by 6. Understand that everyone goes through this, even the experts. I have done a lot of speaking engagements. I have spoken. I'm thankful to God I have spoken on a lot of platforms. But whenever people reach out to me and say, Susan, I want you to speak at this event, I still feel nervous. I still feel unworthy sometimes. So it happens to the best of people. So understand that it is a thing. Secondly, acquire knowledge and skill. The thing that makes you feel like you are not worthy is because you have not acquired the skill. I can beat my chest about content strategy and copywriting anywhere because I have acquired the skill. So I know my onions, I know what I need, I know what I need to do. So I don't have that fear, or the fear keeps reducing because I have acquired knowledge and skill. The third thing is that build confidence by practicing. Don't just gather certification. When you gather the certificates, the assignments, make sure you are able to do the assignment. Don't stop until you get results from the assignment. Balancing work and personal life. When you begin to work remotely, that is going to be a challenge, especially if you're a family person. For example, I am married. There are times I need to shut down and say, okay, I'm attending to home, I'm attending to family business. So how do I work? How do I work? How do I overcome that? Or how do I balance my work and my personal life? I set goals every day. I have sheets of paper. I have to-do lists where I write out. This is one of my to-do lists where I write out everything I need to do every day. I write out every single thing I need to do every day. So write down your goals, prioritize. What needs to happen now? What is something that I need to do now that, for example, that could take food out of my mouth? Vesti pays me on a monthly basis. So if I don't post on my social media page, I need to work for Vesti so that at least money comes in at the end of every month. So Vesti is priority to me for now until I'm able to build my brand to a point where without Vesti, I can cope. So set priorities. Work within work hours. If you've said between 8 and 5 p.m., you work. Once my husband leaves the house by 8 a.m., I'm on my laptop. And I'll be on my laptop most times till 5 p.m. I get work done so that you are getting value or you are improving on yourself, just like the person who has gone to work their 9 to 5. Lastly, documentation. There is no remote work without documentation. Like I mentioned, I've written a ton of copy. I not just write and let the copy go. I am documenting them. I have a portfolio. Any copy I write for somebody, for anybody, I put it on Google Doc. So once another person reaches out to me and they say, Susan, please, do you have copy you have written before? I just send you a link. So I am documenting my journey so you can tell that I have actually put in the work. Now, in a bid to put yourself out there, I have created content ideas for different brands, different businesses. If you are a photographer, you are a baker, you are a makeup artist, you are a skincare brand or something, you can begin to put yourself out there on social media as one of these people. All you need to do is to, in the chat box, Esther is going to drop a link to my store, and I have put out content ideas for you. They are not just content ideas, they are content ideas that come with a script that helps you know the direction your content should take. They are content ideas that come with content format recommendation. In this content ideas, in this content warehouse, I tell you, this should go up as a video, can go up as a carousel, you can post a picture of this, you can post a picture of that. There are over 70 content ideas in each. So for example, content ideas for skincare brands, you'll find over 70 content ideas. Content ideas for photographers, you'll find over 70 content ideas. Some are based on pre-order because I'm still working on them, but the ones that are not based on pre-order, you would have access to them immediately. The price is going for 5,000 Naira because of this webinar. They were initially 10,000 Naira, but I dropped it to 5,000 Naira for the sake of this webinar. So you will find them on, if you can see my screen, you will see the link. Esther is also going to drop the link in the chat box. I mentioned private coaching program. If you want to know how to put yourself out there, specific to your brand, Susan, what should I do? I'll tell you how you should do it for your brand, how you should do it for yourself. Then you should register for the private coaching program. My private coaching program is 150,000 naira for 6 weeks. However, for the sake of this webinar, I have reduced the price to 70,000 naira and is only valid for 1 week. Only valid for 1 week. After 1 week, my price goes back to 150,000 naira. So please, if you know you want to steal the opportunity, don't come back after 1 week and say, please come out, let's negotiate. I'm not negotiating with anybody. So with that, we have come to the end of my session. We'll be moving into comfort session where she's going to share with you how she was able to build herself as an email marketer. Comfort, are you there? Comfort, are you here? Comfort will be coming in shortly to let us know how to build a remote career as an email marketer. Just give her some time so that she shares her screen. Please give me some time to reach out to Comfort so that she shares. If you have gained knowledge today, please tell me what you have gained in the chat box.
Hi. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you, but I can't see you yet.
Okay. Sorry. So I was trying to log on to my laptop. That's why I was having a little bit of glitch.
Oh, so sorry about that.
Hello, everybody. Wow, Susan, you're a big woman. Please, you people, Susan said Comfort has a lot of money. Comfort does not have a lot of money.
Comfort has a lot of money and she's here to let us know how she makes the money. Believe me, Comfort has a lot of money.
Okay, are you ready for this session? If you're ready for this session, please drop your favorite emoji in the chat box. I'm going to be looking at the chat box so that we can start. If you are ready to know how you can transition into email marketing, drop your favorite emoji in. Okay, yeah, I'm beginning to see some people. Okay, all right. Do you know the amazing thing about this session right now is usually with sessions like this, you get a lot of people join into the WhatsApp group, but then you get very little people actually join into the webinar. But I'm so happy to see the whole bunch of you join in, and it's awesome. It's great. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Susan, your session was.
Thank you.
About that later. Anyway, hello everybody. My name is Comfort. I'm just going to pull up my slide now. Just give me a moment to share my screen and let me know if you're seeing it. Okay. All right. Present. Okay. So I'm just going to, I'm going to share my screen now. Can I share my screen? Yes.
Yes, you can share your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Can everybody see my screen? If you can see my screen, please let me know in the chat box if you can see my screen. Yeah, okay. All right. Yes. Okay, great. Yes. All right. Awesome. I like that the chat is very busy. It's very engaging. It's interesting. Okay, so let's move on. My journey into, just going to use this. Okay, my journey into working remotely as an email copywriter and marketer. Now, first of all, who is this person that is Comfort? Who is she? My name is Comfort, right? But then most people know me online as the Copy Babe, and I'm a copywriter and an email marketer, right? I also do email strategies, email marketing strategies for solopreneurs, online coaches, digital creators, e-commerce brands, right? I'll tell you a little bit more on how that works. But it was surprising that I wasn't always all these things. So I wasn't always this copywriter, email marketer. I used to be a classroom teacher, right? And I did not have a single clue on how to earn online. I did not. I didn't have a single clue how I can make money online, how I can earn a dollar online. I did not have any clue. So how did it all change, right? What happened? How did it change? Well, it started in 2020 during the COVID period where COVID happened. We're all in the house, no going out. As a teacher, we could not go to school because all the schools were locked down, right? You have to stay at home. Online classes was the in thing. That's what we're all doing. I was doing online class as well. So, and at that time, there was this need to also be connected to the outside world because we're just at home. We did not know what was happening. At some point, I had to stop listening to news or stop listening to anything that had to do with COVID and people dying and people all day. Because guess what? I had come from Lagos. I went to Lagos in 2019. Okay, first of all, I used to be a classroom teacher, but I was not living in Lagos. I was living in Adamawa State in Yola, very far. So usually I take my vacation and I go to Lagos. I'd gone to Lagos in 2019, came back in 2020. But while I was in Lagos, I heard the rumor that there was this sickness that they were shutting down China and all that. I was like, Johnny, I just said something in my mind. I said, God, I bet me not reach here. That's just what I said. God, I bet me not reach here because we're not fit. That was what I just said to myself. And I remember I was in ShopRite when I saw it. Then I went back to Yola in 2020, January and all that. And then before we know it, COVID was already reaching everywhere. And I remember I was the one that was telling my colleagues, see, this COVID thing, is this. I was so scared. See, I was very scared. And apart from the fact that I was scared that if they shut down everywhere, what will happen? For me as a teacher, I used to do tutoring, like aside my normal regular classroom teaching, I go to children's houses, I teach them. So if they shut down everywhere, that means no lesson for me. And that was like more than what I was earning. My lesson was like ×2 of my salary. My salary used to be 60,000 naira. That's what I was earning. So imagine I was earning an extra 120K, not really up to 120, like extra 90 or extra 60K from lessons, right? And you now shut down everywhere. What will happen? So that's how I like, God, what will happen to me? Then I saw people started bringing their physical things online. Physical classes were coming online. I used to teach diction in English, right? And that's part of the thing that I was doing in my school. So I decided to start a WhatsApp class. And when I started the WhatsApp class, I was charging 2,000 naira. That's what I was charging, 2,000 naira per month. People registered. A lot of people registered for my WhatsApp class because I was doing it on WhatsApp and I was doing it on Zoom. And parents like their children to speak spree. See, spree does not bring money, right? But parents like it. They want their children to sound like foreigners. They want their children to sound British. They want their children to sound American. So they paid for it, right? But then I did not know that teaching English itself was a big business. Like it was a big business. I did not know until COVID. Now, when I started, I had this flyer. This was how I started. I just created one flyer on on the Canva. And at that time, I started because I was always on Instagram. So I followed a particular creator that used to teach how to create stuff on Canva. So I just went on Canva and I created this and people started registering 2K per month, as you can see there, right? That was how I started. Started collecting 2K, doing WhatsApp pass. We're still in the house. COVID was still going on. And remember I said there were lots of communities. I was in one of those communities, right? And I met somebody. In one of those communities, I met somebody and the person was like, oh, you're a teacher. Oh, you're a teacher. Why don't you offer this your services to people, to people they can pay you lots of money for it. I was like, they can pay me lots of money for teaching. The guy said, yeah, they could pay you a lot of money for teaching. The guy was in the UK. So because I was in a lot of communities that time, because I was really bored, I was just in a lot of communities, I'll go and join my roommates. They'll be laughing at me like, why did they join all these people? You never know where I say for guests, leave and like that. Make us see outside world. That was what I was telling them. I hope you guys can understand pidgin. If you can understand my pidgin, please let me know in the chat. If you understand pidgin, please let me know in the chat because I'm going to be switching it up a little. Can you understand me? Are you following along? Should I continue? We did hear you well, correct. So yeah, okay, awesome. Let's continue. Okay, let's continue. So she was like, all these things, and I forget, don't worry. And that was where I met this person I was talking about. So it was like, do you know you can teach people English and actually make money from it? I told him that, no, I already do diction in English. I teach people English online. It was like, no, like you can teach people outside Nigeria. I was like, really? I can? He said, yes. He said, okay, you can offer your service on Upwork. So I said, what's Upwork? I don't know what Upwork is. So he said, you don't know what Upwork is? Say, Google it. Me, immediately, I went to Google, Upwork. And then they brought me a platform. Truly, I could not register an account with. I could not create an account with Upwork. So I told him that, oh, I'm having difficulty. I can't create an account on Upwork. So he said, okay, no problem. I'm going to create an account for you. All you need to do is go and change the username and password. And that's what I did. Created the account. So I had my first Upwork account in 2020. But guess what? Just like you don't know how to, it's like somebody gives you a phone that can give you money, but you don't know how to use it. That was what Upwork was. I didn't know how to use it. I'll just go on the platform, I'll look at it, I'll say, this is my account. This Upwork is fine. See, how this work? And I can do this work. Oh. But how? I did not know how to apply for the job. So I'll just go and admire the page, right? Because first of all, I did not know I could earn money. Like people outside Nigeria could pay me. I did not know. I did also know that the English that I had was something I should have offered to these people, like create an account and say, okay, I teach English. But I just went there. I didn't create, the guy does not know how Upwork really works. He just knows that people earn money through Upwork. So after COVID, no, before COVID even finished, still that 2020, while I was in a community, still communities, another person reached out to me and they're like, oh, hi, how are you doing? Oh, it was how did I mean, it was in a platform like this, right? I went for a virtual tour of Paris. Yes, it was a virtual tour of Paris. And I was just there. And then later on, they did like a breakout room. So you get to like meet people that were there in the seminar, right? So, and I connected with another person, and the person was asking me later on, he came to my WhatsApp, like, oh, hi, okay, give me your number, give me my number. And then we started talking. He's like, okay, what do you do? Because I was already teaching, I said, I'm a teacher. He said, oh, you're a teacher. What do you teach? I said, oh, I teach English. Because I was already doing 2K diction, 2,000 Naira diction. Please get it, understand something, because I'm going somewhere. Then he was like, oh, nice. Can you teach my kids English? I said, your kids. This is somebody that is from France. He lives in Paris. He said, can you teach my kids English? I was like, of course I can teach them English. I don't know how they used to do it. I did not know that. I just like, oh, It's not English. Who cannot teach English? Besides, I'm already teaching English in school. I teach a grade 3 class. I've taught grade 2, grade 1, and I do diction. So, but what made me doubt myself was because he's not in Nigeria. He's not a Nigerian. So that imposter syndrome automatically made me feel that, oh, will I be able to do this thing? Will I be able to do it? So I told him, okay. And he said, how much will you charge? And I called the smallest amount I could think of at that time. I told him $10 an hour. And he said, okay, no problem. I'm like, huh? Wait, $10 an hour. You say, no problem. $10 an hour, mind you, as at that time, exchange rate was around between 300 and 400. So that means he was going to be paying me 3,000 to 4,000 per hour, not per month, per hour. So he said, okay, no problem. I'm going to register 2 of my kids. And that was how I was making $20 per hour from 2 kids in 2020. See, my shoulder pad increased. And that was when I knew that, you see this internet, I can make money. That was how it started for me. I was like, oh, okay. And then I started teaching him. And before you know it, in less than a month, introduced me to a lady that was relocating from Paris to Canada. And she needed to brush up on her English. Really, when it came to me, I told him $20 an hour. Then the lady was like, okay, no problem. That was when I was not suspicious. Why are these people doing, okay, no problem? They do it for price. So I started teaching her, right? And then she moved to Canada. This lady, I was teaching her, she said, let's be doing 5 classes a week. I said, no, cannot be doing 5 classes a week. It will be too much. Can you imagine? I was seeing money, I was saying it's a bit too much. This is hourly pay. But me, I was scared that what if I don't deliver on the promise? What if, and I don't have slides, how will I teach them? I don't know anything. So I just told her that, okay, no problem. You're already an adult. For children, I can't start teaching you ABC in English. No, you already know ABC. But the problem she had was she needed somebody to converse with. Now, I did not know that conversation English, where you just go and speak to somebody in English, was a thing. And people were paying like close to $50 to $100 an hour for it. I did not know. So I just told her that, okay, so because you're already an adult, you come on the line and then you speak in English and I'll correct you and then I'll look at some other things. So I started getting grammar materials, reading materials, so that she would read and get familiar with English. She would speak to me in English and all that. So that's why I started. Then she said, and the thing about this whole thing was, these people did not pay me after class. Unlike my Nigerian people that would pay me maybe at the end of the month or something. They were paying me immediately before the class starts. I'd already gotten my money before the class starts. So that was basically for me, that was when it hit me. And guess what, guys? When I decided to leave Yola and relocate to Abuja, the money I made from my online class was what I was able to use to rent my apartment here in Abuja. And as at that time, I'd made close to 250,000 naira in less than 2 months. And this was enough for me to rent and furnish, no, just to rent, because I had other savings, right? But it was enough for me to pay my first rent in Abuja in less than 2 months. If I walk my AUN walk, I don't make that money. I knew that I would not make that kind of money. So I said, let me resign from this job because I'd already had plans that I was going to relocate, right? But then that singular act solidified it for me. I was like, no, it's time to move. It's time to pursue other things. There's money in the internet. I just need to know how to go about it. So that was how I bumped into copywriting. I didn't wake up one day, like I told you. I didn't wake up one day and decide that, oh, I want to be a copywriter. No. Now, let me even tell you. So copywriting for me came because I got a job on LinkedIn. By the time I decided to leave Yola, when I was working with my clients in Paris, I started researching. I started researching what other things I could do. I had someone that was telling me about affiliate marketing. So I was like, I don't really understand this affiliate marketing. I don't understand, but there's something called digital marketing. What is digital marketing? So I started researching. You see me in groups, like then if you see my phone, Facebook group, plenty for my phone. I'll just be in one Facebook group, in one community, in this and that. That was when I realized that, okay, people were actually making money. People were even teaching English online. There were lots of companies that were employing people to just simply come and teach children English online. But I said, okay. And then some of those companies were not recruiting because so the children will not be able to learn like them because they wanted people that have American accent. Applying for job is, I've never really applied for a job before, guys. I've never really applied for a job. Okay. My network is a bit unstable. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me in the. I'm considering tutorial.
I can hear you, rather.
Okay. I get. All right. So let's continue. Actually, the first job I got, I've never applied for a job. I've always been somebody that, I think the only job I've ever applied for was an internship role. Now, my AUN job, then I got it because I went to pitch my service. So I get jobs from pitching, but I don't get jobs from applying. I don't know why. I do this, and then you come to me, okay, come and help me do it. So I know how to pitch myself. I know apply, say, okay, I want to apply for a certain kind of, I don't know how to do it very well. And I always feel like, oh, it's not good enough. I'm not going to do this. And by the time I'm even sending my application as at that time, I'll already defeat myself in my mind that I'm not going to get the job. Because I'll look at the qualifications, I'm like, no, these qualifications are too much. I don't have it. I can't. And that's it. I'll just not apply, right? So back to copywriting. I don't want to deviate. Back to copywriting. I started putting myself out there on LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn, I don't update your LinkedIn account so you can get clients. Clean it up. Optimize it. So I did the one I knew. I went to the about section. I put the things I know. This was in 2021. Somebody now reached out to me on LinkedIn and told me to come and write website copy for them. I'm like, to write website copy for you. Said yes. I'm like, okay, no problem. Then I went on Google and Googled how much they charge for website copy. How much they charge for copywriting? And then Google gave me answers. And I thought, from the answers that Google gave me, Google was giving me, okay, and I also bumped into a resource by Andy Bukolo, copywriting. And then he said that the amounts copywriters collect is from $1,000 to $10,000 and above. So I told the guy $1,000. I'm not joking, no. I told the guy, write that website copy for 1,000, and he had said, okay, write it for us. I said, but I cannot start working. You have to give me something. Sends me. I said, okay, I'm going to cut the project into timelines. It is a full website. So I said, okay, I'll write the home page. I just went and looked at how websites look. I've not got, and I went on YouTube as well. So I looked at, okay, I'm going to write the home page. I'm going to write about page. I'm going to write the service page. So I just listed out all those things for them. They were in Nigerian clients. So, and they were in Abuja and they asked me to come for a meeting. I went for a meeting. We did like, they did like a wireframing of how the website would look like. And I told them what I'm going to write and all that. And they said, okay, we'll pay you the $1,000. Me my first half payment, $100 to write the first one. I was like, wow, I'm gonna make money in this thing. This thing it makes sense. I'm gonna make money. And that was how I like, okay, but then I don't know what I was doing. I went back to my Upwork account. I saw jobs, lots of jobs on copywriting and all that. So I knew that at this point, I would need to get training in copyright. I don't know what I am doing. And I want to collect this $1,000. So what am I going to do? So I decided to go. I checked YouTube, but YouTube wasn't really giving me what I was looking for at the time, right? A lot of videos. The thing about YouTube is if you don't know what you're searching for, you will not get what you're looking for. There are a lot of junk on YouTube. So I knew I was looking for how to write copy, but then some of the videos are fast-paced. They don't show me step by step. I'm somebody that like practical. I work better when there's a practical aspect to it. So I just looked at it that no, I'm not going to learn what I want to. So I still I was with the job, and I was still looking for a way to make sure that I get knowledge on copywriting. So I started speaking to people if they know have courses that I can take and all that. And somebody introduced me, a friend of mine introduced me to a guy that is a copywriter that was going to teach us copywriting. And guess what? He was going to teach us copywriting for free because it was the first time he was ever going to teach copywriting. He does copywriting. He's a good copywriter, but he only uses it for his business. And his business is booming. So he said he was going to teach us. And this guy dedicated 3 months teaching us copywriting. And we learned and learned. When I started, I said, is this how copywriting is? Well, I don't want to do it though. Which kind of I'll be this? I'll be writing copy every day. I was literally writing every day. I had one long book. I wish it's with me. I would have shown you guys. It's filled with copy that I wrote for 30 days. Every day we give us money, wake up, write one copy. I'll write copy. I told the guy, I said, this girl that is complaining, told my friend, this girl that's complaining, she will not continue. I was just laughing. I said, which one be copy? Even when I was a classroom teacher, I hate copy, lesson plan, lesson notes. Hey, give me. I hate it, but I just had to do it because of the job. And then for copyright, I just had to do it because I knew what I was going after. So I told myself one day that you don't like it, it's not favorable now, but if you can succeed in it, you will be better off. So I sat my ass down and I set my alarm. Every day, 7 a.m., I'll wake up, write copy to 8 because we have to submit it before 8 a.m. So set my alarm, before 7 a.m. Set my alarm to 6 a.m., wake up, start writing for 1 hour and send it in. As I was writing, it became easier. Before I was using 1 hour to write, it became easier. I started using 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 20 minutes. And then that was when I knew that, okay, I am liking this thing, right? So now offer my service, right? I carried the service and went back to Upwork, but I still do not understand how Upwork works. So the thing about social media is when you know what you're looking for, you'll get it. And the thing about when you know what you're looking for, you also ask God, because I kept praying that God, I beg, help your girl. I just want to be able to eat. You get? I just want to be able to eat to help your girl. So it was opening me up to opportunities. And I was seeing it. Was like when you're looking out for something, you now realize that it's literally everywhere. But because you were not looking for it before, you were not seeing it. So by the time you also seeing it everywhere, why is this thing everywhere now? It's because you are looking for it. So that was what happened. I now saw a mentorship for Upwork and I paid for it. And then the person taught me how to use Upwork. It was about 30K, and I think that's my first mentorship I ever paid for since when I started like freelancing and all that. My story is getting long. Let me continue because I still have a lot of things to say, right? So that was how I paid 30K to learn how to use Upwork. And we learned and all that. But when I now finished learning copywriting, went on Upwork, and I realized that when I was learning copywriting, I realized I did not like website writing. Because guess what? You see that $1,000 job? I lost it. Why? Because I could not deliver on the job. The only thing they paid me for was the $100 and I took it. And I did not mind because I understood that I did not know what I was doing. So I failed at the project and it went. So I knew that I did not want to fail at another project. So when we started copywriting, when I learned copywriting, one of the things I liked while I was learning was email marketing. I liked email marketing because it was so easy to write these emails. For me, it came easily. It's not like it's easy, but for me, it came easy. And I was like, oh, I prefer writing emails to writing website copy or writing sales pages, because with copywriting, you have to write sales pages or social media copy and all that. So I prefer writing emails, maybe social media copy and all that, than sales pages and website copy. So maybe I'll just go into email marketing. That was how I came about email marketing. However, remember, this is somebody that taught us the ins and outs of copywriting, but he taught us what we call direct response copywriting, right? But he did not go in to tell us how we can market these skills. And the in-depth of email marketing, the one that I now like, email copywriting, email marketing, he did not go in depth. But when I realized that that's what I wanted to do, I decided to take a course in email marketing. And I took a course, the course is by Sapphire, right? If you want a link to the course, I could drop it after I'm done. I'll drop a link to the course I took. I took that course, and the course literally changed it for me, right? I did not just take the course, I took the course with the mentorship. It came at the time I was taking the course, she was doing a mentorship. So I took the course and I went for a mentorship. Remember, I said that I work better with practicals. I like if I'm doing something, let me do the practical aspect of that thing. By the time I'm doing the practical aspect of that thing, it retain better in my head. I'll remember, because I'm doing it. I'm getting my hands dirty. I'm not somebody that learns better just with theory. No, I want to do it. If I'm working on if you teach me landing page, when I learned how to create my first landing page on MailChimp, I watched it on YouTube. When I finished watching it, I came back to do it 3 days later and I'd forgotten what I watched. So I had to go back to the video, right? So that's why I realized that, no, you see this thing, let me be seeing you doing it, and I'll be doing it as you're teaching me, because I like to get my hands dirty. So whenever I'm learning anything, I like to get my hands dirty immediately. As you're teaching me, let me be practicing. As you're teaching, let me be practicing. So I remember, and it becomes a part of me, and I can ask questions easily, right? So that was how it was for me. Then I now entered the mentorship, and then Sapphire was so calm because she taught us everything that we need regarding email marketing as a beginner, right? You will learn it, and how to even offer it as a service. So as at that time, right, I'd done some jobs as a copywriter, but I did not have a portfolio. She taught us how to create our portfolio, how to market our services, and it was from marketing our service. Guys, I left out this story. There's one part that I missed out. While I was learning email marketing with Sapphire, I was also in another mentorship that was learning content writing, how to write blog posts, how to sell your services as a content writer. Now, these are two different things. Copywriting is different from content writing. With content writing, you're basically giving a lot of information. But with copywriting, you are writing with the aim to sell. That's just the thing difference. Is copy. All of them is copy. But with one, you are writing to sell. With the other, you are basically maybe writing to inform. Sometimes the goal might be to sell. Sometimes the goal might not be to sell. So you see a lot of blog posts. You've read blog posts. Maybe you might Google something and say, what is in copywriting? You see a lot of pages on Google that come out. Those pages are blogs, right? They give you a lot of information regarding copywriting. At the end, they might sell something to you. At the end, they might not sell, because that's not the goal. The goal is to give you information about that thing. But with copywriting, the aim is to sell. So with copywriting, you get places where somebody is saying, somebody says, get this ebook that will teach you how to do email copywriting. Click here to buy now. That one is copywriting. They want you to buy. Or the person is saying, click here to sign up for something that will give you. That is copywriting. The aim is to make you take an action. With copywriting, the person wants you to take an action, and the person has to write it in a way that you would be moved to take that action when you get to that point, right? So that's the difference. Now, I was in these two mentorship. I was learning how to write for blogs, and I was also learning email marketing. See, it was easy for me. Do you know why it was easy for me? It was easy and it was not easy. It was hectic because, trust me, there was no light sometimes. I have to go to places to look for power supply and research and everything. This was something that I wasn't used to. But at the same time, it was easy because it was practical. I was in a group, I was in a mentorship where the people that were teaching were ready to carry their brain and put to your own if you are ready to learn. Do you understand? But I paid for these two mentorship individually, differently, right? And I'm so glad I did, because immediately after the mentorship, now the person I was learning content writing from, and in Sapphire's group, in Sapphire's mentorship, Sapphire said that we should go and look for our first client, and I was like, hey, we are want to see clients. I heard they learn this thing. This gets able to go find clients from where to where. So I said, okay, how will I do this? So I posted it on my Facebook. Did I post on Facebook? No, I didn't post on Facebook. I posted on Twitter. And then when I posted on Twitter, I didn't get anybody. Then I realized that, why don't you pitch this service to the person that is teaching you, this coach that is teaching you content writing? Why don't you pitch it to her? So I pitched it to her. And why I was able to pitch it to her, I'd looked at it. My knowledge of copywriting had made me see where clients' pain points is where they are struggling, the things that is giving them stress, their automation, things that they can do better. So I pitched it to her and I told her that, why don't you do this thing that you're teaching us now, this content writing, why don't you do it like this, build an email list, send this one, send emails. Okay, don't know how to do it, don't worry. I'll do it for the first one for you. The first one, I'll automate all the emails for you, blah, blah, blah. Sent to her. And she was like, oh my God, I've been looking for somebody to do this for me. In fact, I started it, well, the first time I started it, I flopped. So I left it. I've been looking at the time. So I left it and I could not do it. So thank God thank you for mentioning to me. I'm going to do it. But I don't know how to do it though. So I said, no problem. Do you have a lead magnet? She said, yes. And before you know it, I got my first client, even though it was free work, but I got my first client. Somebody did not say they should pay. She just said, get your first email marketing client. And I got my first client. That was how I got my first email marketing client. Guys, guess what? That person that I pitched that service to, even though I did it for her for the first time free, she came back and she's in fact, she's one of my clients right now that I'm doing email marketing for. She's paying for my service now, premium. She's paying because I was able to do something for her at first. I'm not saying go and do free work. Please don't do free work. But the reason why she came back was because I was able to deliver, right? And shortly after the mentorship, I got my first international client. Although I wasn't new to international client because based on my French person. So as at this time, I already set up systems that help me collect money from people abroad. That's something you need to do as well. If you're going to have to get international clients, make sure that you have a system to be able to collect your money. At first, I started using PayPal, and that was because I had somebody that had PayPal. But now I have a system where no matter where you are in the world, you can pay me. In fact, my services are in dollars. You now translate it to Naira. Although sometimes I have Nigerian price, right? Because my Nigerian people be saying that your price is too expensive. So I still have a Nigerian price. So far, I've worked with different clients in different parts of the world. And so these are some of the brands I've worked with. And let me just tell you something. You see all these brands that you're seeing, I did not pitch them. I did not apply. That's the thing. They came to me. How? The first person you are seeing came to my Instagram DM. I want you to write for me. But these people came because I put myself out there. I did not say, okay, I'm learning this skill. I've learned this skill. So I now hide behind my phone. I'm learning this thing. No. I put myself out there because if I want people to pay me, I have to be able to put myself out there because I don't know how to send application letter. I have to be able to put myself out there to bring in what we call inbound clients. I have to be able to do inbound marketing to attract them to come to me, to know that, oh, this person that is selling this service, she knows what she's doing, so she can do it for me. I have to put myself out there. I have to build my brand, and I build my brand everywhere. Clients, I've gotten clients from Twitter. I was telling Susan yesterday, I got my first Twitter clients, right? And how she came back and even paid an extra because she wanted something really fast, right? I've gotten clients from LinkedIn. I've gotten clients from Instagram. I think the only place I've never gotten clients from is Facebook and TikTok. And that's because I have not I've not put myself out there on Facebook. Because I know if I do, I will. Do you understand? So if you're learning something, you're learning anything, even if that thing right now you don't understand. I tell people, if you're learning that thing, you don't understand it. Start talking about it. Is it that part that is disturbing you that you don't understand? Talk about it. When you overcome that part, talk about it. When you win on that part, talk about it. Why? You are taking people on a journey. You're taking people on a journey to understand your story. You are making them become a part of that story. By the time you succeed, they feel like they are a part of your success story. So share it. Share it. Don't feel like, oh, I don't know this thing, so I can't talk about it. Or when I don't know anything about copywriting now, when I got my copywriting client. Do you understand? Talk about it. By the time you get the client, the one you don't understand. That's another thing is talk about it, but then join communities. For me, I join a lot of communities. You see Facebook group, I will join. Telegram, in fact, recently I had to mute my Telegram notification button. I muted everything because when I'm working, I'm here, boom, 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 and it's disturbing me, disturbing my concentration because I'm in so many communities. Now, in these communities, I sometimes see another thing is I do not really participate in communities. Let me not go lie. In case you see me in one community and like this guy, I don't participate too. But let me tell you something that I do when I'm in the community. If they are sharing resource that will help you, or they are sharing a link to a webinar, and it's something that I know that will help me, I do not hesitate to join. I do not hesitate to join. I don't just join. I get my notes, my pen, I write. I take notes. In fact, if there's a recording, I go back to record. I go back to the recording. If it's something that, because I know I will need it. I will need it. So I'm not just there. And then sometimes I meet friends. It's from these communities that I've been able to meet people. It's from these communities that I've met a lot of people online that have become my very good friends. I met Susan online. I did not know Susan before. I met her online. In fact, the first time I spoke to Susan was in a community. Do you understand? The first time I spoke to her was in a community. And before we now picked up and then we became friends right now. I did not meet these people on the road. In fact, most people around me don't even understand what email marketing is or how it works, right? So, see, this is where I was talking about. So I forgot to click on slide. Don't mind me. I'm not used to all these kind of things. All right. So basically, I took courses and I worked on improving myself. Another thing that I did was I was not stingy with my knowledge acquisition. When I saw something that needed me to pay for, and I know that, I have the money to pay. See, for example, there was a program I wanted, in fact, the first copywriting course I wanted to buy, I did not have money. Thankfully, I did not buy the course, right? I didn't have money. So I started asking people to borrow me money to pay for it. Course was quite expensive. I borrowed money to pay for courses, because why? I know I will get the money back if I implement. One thing about me, I don't join courses where I know that I can't implement what I am going in there for. And I always look out for courses that have practical steps. Mentorship is attached to them. Internship is attached to them. Something like that, because I know the kind of person I am. So understand your personality, understand the way you learn. I'm not much of a visual learner. I'm somebody that likes to learn with my hands. I'm a practical learner. And if I teach, when I'm teaching in the classroom or when I teach children now, because I still do tutoring, but now I do freelancing. I work on my own terms. I don't work for anybody, but I'm living comfortably. I'm living comfortably well, right? I look out for these courses. When I teach, right, I teach my kids, the kids I teach them with practical things. Like if it's going to be a math problem, I'm going to bring out things to show you, to see, to do it, to count it, to see how you can do. When you do it with your hands, you don't forget easily. When you get your hands dirty, on time in your journey, you won't forget easily. You want to apply, right? So apply for mentorships if you see opportunity. Put yourself out there. Get a coach. Get a coach. You know why? You can ask questions. When you are stuck, you can run to them. They're always there to answer you. Not all the time, but then they're there because they know this is something that they taught you, right? And many of them are easily, they easily want to share what they know. Because you see, let me tell you something. My head is filled with a lot of things. I was telling Susan recently how I helped somebody create a digital course. Why was I able to do it? I've not created a digital course for myself, but I was able to do it for somebody. You know why? Because I consumed so much knowledge about it. I'd consumed so much knowledge about it, physical, visually and practically. I'd consumed so much about it. I needed to pour it out. So while you're learning, pour out. If not, you have information overload, because I suffered from it. By the time I poured out everything I knew, my head space cleared. And that was when I knew that, yes, it's time to move on to the next. It's time for me to bring in more things into my head, right? Join communities. It will help you meet the right people. When you are there, don't do like me. I'm somewhat of a wallflower, right? When I'm in a place, I want to sit back first and see what is really going on here. But it did not pay. It does not pay. Oh. It does not pay. Oh. It does not pay. Don't do it, please. Talk. Open your mouth and talk. Because when you talk, people get to know you. People get to see, even if that thing that you're answering, even that thing that maybe somebody asks a question and you want to answer something, you want to answer that question, even if somebody has dropped that answer, still say it. You know why? It's visibility for you. You're creating visibility for yourself. You're making yourself known. So by the time people want to talk about that thing later on, they will remember you. They remember the other person. But what if it's only that person that they remembered and they did not remember you because you decided to keep quiet, right? So don't keep quiet. Whatever you know, share it. Why? Let's look at it in this way. There are so many doctors, right? There are so many lawyers. But do people say that because there are so many doctors, there are so many lawyers, they will not still learn medicine or they will not still learn law? They won't. Or we didn't say that because there are so many doctors and there are so many lawyers, when one doctor tells you something, you take that one, that's the only thing. Do not go to another doctor. No, they will. Because sometimes the doctor might explain, this particular doctor, Dr. A, might explain it in a way that is not understandable. But Dr. B would explain it in a way that would be more understandable to you. As a creator, I started consuming her content because of her mannerism. Not because what she's saying is new, no, or what she's saying to me, I don't know it before. I know it. But because the way she explains it, her mannerism is interesting. I am tuned to her. I like it. So I follow her. I consume her content a lot. And I also learn. I learn because now the way she's saying, I'm like, okay, this is how this person puts it. When I want to put my own, I can put it like this. Okay, I'm picking things from people, right? So that's how you put yourself out there. Me, I've not finished building. No, I am still building. Like I said, I'm still working. And I wrote working, not working. Working, I'm still working, right? Because I'm still learning, I'm still building, and I'm still improving myself, right? And if you want to know, I didn't talk about much about email marketing because I'm sure you're not here to learn how to start email marketing. You came to hear stories, and I came to tell story, right? So if you want to learn how to get into email marketing, I have a free resource, email marketing guidebook, right? It will help you get into email marketing because it will also tell you what email marketing is. Sorry, why am I going back? It tell you what email marketing is, how you can succeed with email marketing, how to start with email marketing, metrics you should look out for in email marketing if you're starting out. Yes, email service platforms you should look out for, because when I got into email marketing, I just realized that, I like this thing. Now, yeah, I go sit down, put. Until maybe later, I'll change. But for now, I like it. I like it. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here for a while. Because, like I said, for me, it came naturally. Not naturally, because when I was in primary school, I used to write. I like writing stories. I imagine a lot. And another thing that also helped me is I read a lot. I used to read a lot. I'm that person in my group of friends that will say, comfort. And you go know now. Ask comfort, you go know. And because people feel that because I speak English, I used to know things. I used to know things like that. Oh. The reason why I know is because me, I'm always looking out for information. If I hear something somewhere, I will go and look for it. I mean, when I present in a very tush nice way, and you'll be like, oh, this person, she knows. I'm not know like that too. It's Google that is helping my life. Google YouTube. And I don't just go on this Google YouTube. I read. Whenever I find a resource that I feel like it's something that is going to be beneficial to me, I read. I not only read, I listen. I also listen a lot. So part of the reasons why you might not catch me talking a lot in communities is because I'm listening. When I go on Instagram, on social media platforms, I do what we call social listening. I look at what people are saying. What are they commenting in the comment sections, right? How are they saying it? What are the questions they are asking? These things are the basis for what helps me write and learn. I don't just go to, I might be very quiet. Sometimes I might be on my phone all day, but I am reading. Mind you, I may not read physical books online a lot because I prefer hardcover books. I like, if I'm going to read a book, if it's a blog post, I can read it to the end. But if it's a book, online book, I will not read it. You know why? I prefer physical books. So some of the PDFs I get, I have put them in a compartment because I want to go and print them out and read them, right? I want to print them out and read them. Why? Because I know that's the kind of person I am. Remember, I said that. Understand your kind of person, understand the way you learn, and then move with it. That would help you. Don't do because, oh, Comfort is doing like this, so you do that. Oh, because Susan did like this. No, understand who you are before you get into, find what you like. If you don't even find what you like, another thing is find what pays. Later on, you will like it. By the time you can start collecting, by the time you start getting paid for it, you will like it. There is no way you will not like it, right? So that's just it, guys. You can connect with me on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. I'm the Copy Babe. I said on LinkedIn as well. I'm Comfort SCN. And you can send me emails. You want to ask me questions. I'm on the group. You can ask me questions. And if you want this free resource, please comment you want in the comment section. And I'm going to drop a link for you before the webinar ends. Okay. I try to finish on time so you can ask questions if you have questions. So do you have questions? Let me go to the chat. I'm seeing a lot of things in the chats. Okay.
Ask your questions, drop emojis, comment about Comfort session. What did you learn?
Oh, network was breaking. Okay, so guys, what did you take? What was your biggest take from this session? What did you learn from this session? What was your biggest take from this session? Or ask questions. I'm here. I want to listen. I have like 8 minutes to answer questions. If you don't want to type, you can unmute yourself and, right? You can unmute yourself and ask the question, right? Let me stop sharing so you guys can ask questions. Okay, stop share. Okay, all right, ask questions. My question is, how can a mathematician teacher earn online? I have a friend that is a teacher. She teaches math and she's earning, Becky. She's a math tutor. She earns online. So, okay, a lot of questions about teaching online. Okay, so what we're teaching online, right? You can earn with teaching online. Me, I realized that I could not continue the application thing. I don't like application for applying for so many things. And then most of them will tell you to do videos. And another thing was, as at that time when I was learning, I did not have a good phone to do videos. So when it came to make a 1-minute video about yourself, because you want to hear the way you speak, the camera I was using was really terrible. By the time I finished making the video quality will be so low that if they will see me, they'll say, who is this one that is in Nigeria again? And then there's no light. Your background is dark. Everything is dark. So I just said, I can give myself excuse. Is it that thing? I know how to give excuse very well. I will not give myself that excuse and not make it. But because I know that this is something I don't like doing, I now looked at it, what are the things that I like to do? And I said, okay, with email marketing, email copywriting, I do not need to make a video to show somebody that I know what I'm doing, except I'm making a video to sell my service. Now I'm more comfortable. I make videos. If you check my Instagram, you see me where I make videos and talk about things on my Instagram, right? It wasn't always like that when I started in 2020. This confidence to be on camera started in 2022 and 2023. I wasn't always confident to make videos because when I was younger, I wanted to be a broadcaster, but I never wanted to be on TV. I never liked public eye. I don't want somebody looking at me, like look at my face. I don't like it. I was shy because I'm very shy, but people don't know I'm shy. I cover it with talking, being bold, right? I cover it a lot with being bold. And another thing is doing it over time, doing something over frequently, doing it over and over, it makes you become more confident in yourself, right? Right. So because I realized that I don't want to be doing video for every application I'm applying to. I don't want to be making videos. So I just decided that I beg, online teaching is not for me. If you come to me, but sincerely, right? People still come to me. I still had a DM about last week where somebody said I should come and teach their child English online. So people still know that, oh, this person knows how to do this, right? And maybe I would have even sold more if I did video with my diction, because with diction, people want to hear that you speak, and not just speaking. People want to hear that when you teach their children, you're not going to be teaching their children Nigerian English. You are calling the with say. They don't want to hear that. They want to know that you can actually do this thing. But I don't know how to make videos. So I just said, I beg. Mona rest, I don't fit do this thing. And I went to do the one that required my skill of imagination, pen, and paper, which is copywriting and email marketing. Okay. So for you to make money as a math tutor, it's very possible. I'm going to look up on some platforms, and then I'll drop a link in the, if you're in the WhatsApp group, I'm going to look for some platforms where you can apply to. If you're not like me, that like can apply to them. And in fact, the last organization I worked with in Singapore, they employ math teachers. So there are companies that you can employ math teachers online. Okay, another one says, my question is, I'm confused on where to delve in digital marketing, copywriting, UI, UX. Do I have a little experience? Okay, when I first started, right, I didn't know I was going to do email marketing or email copywriting. I just know that okay, I don't want to be doing videos if you're applying for English teaching roles. So what else can I do? Now, when I saw copywriting, they said copywriting is to sell. I first liked to sell before. I used to sell things. I used to sell perfumes. Like when I was in school, I sell perfumes online and physical, right? Before even that, I used to sell. So I like selling. So when I saw that, oh, copywriting is about selling, you're writing to sell, I went into it. But then when I now went to copywriting, I realized that even with the copywriting itself, I don't like certain aspects of copywriting, right? So I prefer email marketing. Tomorrow it can change. Tomorrow I can decide that, oh, I don't want to do, when I started as an email copywriter. But now I'm gradually, I have transitioned from being just an email copywriter to an email marketer and an email strategist. These are different roles, right? So how was I able to transition? Because I started and I got into it. I got my hands dirty. So get your hands dirty, right? Get your hands dirty. Start exploring the things that you like. Do it. Get practical. Don't just watch videos and go for courses. Attend mentorships if there are. If the mentorships or if the courses come with internships, attend, apply, right? Go for it. By the time you're doing, you realize that, oh, okay, I prefer UI UX to copywriting, or I prefer copywriting to UI UX, right? Because I know for UI UX, it has to do with graphics and all that. So get doing, do the things that you have in mind, start doing it. By the time you're doing it, you discover the one that you prefer over the other. Okay, to begin earning, Upwork, Fiverr. Yes, you can Oh, you see, NEPA, they have taken lights. Okay, thank God we're done here. Okay, guys. So
Thank you, Comfort. Thank you so much. Please drop an emoji in the comments.
I'm going to turn on my
Comfort,
video now
you.
because there's no light here, but I'm still here. I'm in the chat.
It's fine. Niger has happened. Niger happened, though. Thank you, Comfort. Thank you so much. That was such an insightful session. Please drop an emoji. Drop comments about Comfort session. To add to the person who was to earn as a math tutor, there's this platform called Preply. You can apply to begin to earn on Preply. You can apply on, you can set up a profile on Upwork, on Fiverr, just like Comfort mentioned. You can begin building your personal brand on social media. Pick a board, simple terms now. Pick a whiteboard, put it somewhere in your house or in your office. Pick a marker and begin doing simple math problems. Begin solving simple math problems and post the videos on social media. That way, people will begin to know and understand that you are a math tutor. And you could get people to reach out to you that way to say, come and teach my students. Come and teach my students. Come and teach children. Solve problems. If you know you tutor grade 1, grade 2, whatever grade you tutor, pick their problems and begin solving their problems on a board. Explain it in videos, upload them as short 1-minute videos, short 2-minute videos, and then you begin to gain visibility. People will begin to reach out to you after they have begun to trust you. Henry says, I want to ask a question. What can someone who likes to talk do online? YouTube, podcasts, plenty things. If you like videos, to talk,
do daily videos.
Podcasts, go on. We want to hear your voice. Pick a niche, talk about something. If you like football, go on an audience. People will begin to reach out to you. Any other questions? Please, before we continue, if you can, please turn on your video. I want us to take a picture of us. I want us to take a picture before we move on to the next and the last session. See, if you have stayed here up until now, don't leave, because the last session is fire-packed. The last session is fire-packed. But before we go on, I want us to take a picture of ourselves. So please, if you can, turn on your video. Turn on your video. I can see Joy. Joy, good to see you. Good to see you. Turn on your video. Take a picture of yourself. Post on your stories on social media, on WhatsApp. Tell people to join in. Post. I'm sorry.
My village people. Because I don't have
light. Esther, you don't have light. Why? What's the problem? Nigeria, why? Nigeria, which way? Oh, Christopher has light. Praise God.
Yay! Oh, you guys, it's so good to see your faces.
Yeah. Good to see everyone. Okay, if you don't feel comfortable with, we've not finished making this video, so wait. Sorry, I haven't finished. Turn on. I can see Ogechi. Yes, Ogechi. Is that a picture or is that you?
Please, if you are tagging, if you post on Instagram, please tag me at the Copy Babe. At the Copy Babe, very easy. The Copy Babe. I think I'm the only one bearing that on Instagram.
Actually, I can see Sarah. Good to see everyone. Thank you for joining in. Now we are going to move on to the next session. Hey, this next session, let me give you a background story about the next session. If you wish, you can turn off your video and let's continue. So before we continue, let me give you a little brief about the next session. Temi is going to come on board. Temi is a communications executive with Ingressive For Good. If you don't know Ingressive For Good, just go on Google right now and go and search for Ingressive For Good. They are big. I just got a scholarship about 2 weeks ago to study a certification course offered by Meta on social media marketing, and it was given to me for free. Now, let me explain. If I was going to pay for this course, I was going to pay. Thank you, Esther says thank you on your scholarship. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful. If I was going to be paying for this course, I was going to pay 28,500 naira per month. 28,500 naira per month. And I may not be able to finish the course in a month. So imagine, let's say I finish the course in 4 months. 28,500 times 4. That's the amount I'll be paying for that course. But Ingressive for Good is giving me an opportunity to study the course for 6 weeks for free. And I'll get certificate. I'll get 2 certificates. I'll get a digital marketing associate certificate and I think social media marketing certificates. And these certificates are recognized worldwide. Worldwide, if you go on LinkedIn and you upload the number of the certificate, your certificate will pop up. So Temi is going to come on board. She's going to talk to us about her own journey, how she started, how she got the Ingressive for Good job, if she wants to share that, and how you can gain scholarships. Temi, are you there? Drum roll, everybody drum roll. I want to see your drum roll in the comments. Drum roll, Temi is here. Temi, welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry I can't put on my camera. I've had such a crazy day. Rain beats me today. There's no lights. I'm going through a lot, but I'm here for you guys.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you so much for inviting me to do this, Susan. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. So just like Susan said, thank you. If you can't hear me at any point, please write it in the chat box, right, so that I know. So just as Susan said, I'm communications executive at Ingressive For Good. My name is Temilola. Aside from working as a communications executive at I4G, I also have other interests like beauty, so skincare, skincare, hair care, personal development, all of that stuff. I really love to see people evolve, and I love to share my story to help people to become better, right? That's why I'm here. So what you probably don't know about me is that I have a BSc in microbiology. And there was a time in my life when I thought that I was going to be a research scientist. In fact, I went to do a master's degree. I not finished, I dropped out, don't worry. So it was after I finished my NYSC, I was trying to get a job just like every other Nigerian, and I wasn't able to get one. So I won't bore you with the story of how I tried out different businesses and everything. But then at some point, I started a business. And then I got an opportunity. It was an online business because, of course, I could not afford to get a shop. So I got an opportunity to manage my auntie's social media accounts. I didn't even know there was anything called social media management. So I just thought it was posting and building it up. So from there, I got curious about, how to do better with that and all of that. And then it was in the middle of all of that that I spoke to Susan for the first time, and I told her about how I knew that I wanted to do communications and all of that, but I didn't know how to get into it. So now, how did I get my first job, right? Which is the job that I do right now with Ingressive For Good. One day I was scrolling on social media, and then I follow Blessing Abeng. If you know Blessing Abeng, you know that she's big, right? And I was just going through her stories. I think she posted something about needing an assistant if you have great writing skills and all of that. So I decided to send her an email. So I worked on my CV again, and I sent her an email of some samples that I had written to apply for some jobs that I did not get, right? So I'll bring out 2 tips from that. One thing was that I mentioned is that I had to work on my CV again. Why did I work on my CV again? When you're applying to any organization, work culture is such an important thing, right? You have to understand the personality of that organization. So for example, the way I would write a cover letter or create my CV for a company like Google is different from the way I would write my cover letter or design my CV for or my portfolio for a company like Career Body, or a company like, let's say, what company is like really fun? Let me use Career Body. If you don't know Career Body, you can just check them out on Instagram. They're quite playful and all of that. So it's going to be different. So when you're applying for any job, make sure that you understand how that company is and you're able to tweak your CV and portfolio to suit that organization and what they're like. So I did that. At the time, I was not applying to work at Ingressive For Good. Now, the second tip that I would share is this. Before getting the opportunity to work at Ingressive For Good, I would write articles I just write it and just have it in my Google Docs. I did everything. I'll tell people that, oh, I'm looking for opportunity to work in social media. I do writing and everything. So I was doing a lot of, different jobs. Sometimes you pay me 2K or something. Wasn't a lot of money, but I was doing that to build up my portfolio. And that's why I had writing samples to send to Blessing for the opportunity to work with her. So I had an interview with her, and she told me that, you know what, I think you have great communication skills, and I would like you to come and work at Ingressive For Good as our communications executive. I did not apply to work at Ingressive For Good, but because of what I had, the works that I had written, I'd done some work, right, which was not necessarily paid employment, right, but just different gigs. She was able to see what I could do. So I think one mistake that people make is that they feel like, oh, before I can get a job, before I can, they feel like, oh, I'm just going to wait until I get a job. I'm not going to do anything. This period that you're waiting to get a job, start getting yourself involved in different things. If you want to get a job as a content writer, start writing content. Don't wait for anybody to employ you. That way you have something to put in your portfolio. You have something to put on your CV. Because companies, especially tech companies, I can tell you that for a fact, they're not necessarily asking about your certificate. I mean, certification is good, but they want to know more about what you can actually do. So you need to be able to show them what you can do. So now, how do you find remote job opportunities? I've given you one example, social media, but I'll still expatiate on that a bit, right? So you can either find an announcement about the job opening, or you can reach out to a company, but there are still some other interesting ways that you can find jobs. So one of the things that I do at Ingressive For Good is documenting success stories. So success stories are basically after somebody has taken our course, like Susan now, when she's done with our course, I'm going to go and disturb her to come and do an interview, right? So that we will find out, okay, how was your experience with the course? And have you gotten a job now? How did you get a job? So we have quite a number of people who have gotten jobs. So I'm going to be sharing some tips based on those people's experiences and also based on my experience and my research. So one thing that you can do is follow accounts of people that post job openings. So for example, on Twitter, there are quite a number of them like that. You find people that they're always posting job openings, right? You can follow people like that so that you can find job opportunities. Now, another thing that you need to do is follow accounts of people that share content about their career journey, about their career growth. I've noticed that people like that very often, because of the kind of content that they are creating, because they share things about their career growth or trying to help people, get into this new career and, things like that, they usually have information about jobs that are available, job vacancies. So sometimes it could be that they have inside information. And also it could also be that a company decides to partner with them. So they now become like talent placement partners, where let's say a company like Team Apt or Ingressive For Good, for example, would tell somebody that, well, Ingressive For Good may not necessarily do that because we have an alumni community. But then let me use a company like Team Apt. Team Apt is money point. So if you've ever had to use your ATM card in POS, you most likely use money point. Money point is also Team Apt. Okay, so let's say a company like Team Apt now, for example, they could partner with somebody who, let's say somebody like who talks about career, like Hack Sultan, for example. If you're in tech, you probably know Hack Sultan. So you could partner with somebody like that writes about career and all of that, and is always trying to encourage newbies and everything, and say, oh, Hack Sultan, we have this opportunity, right? Please post it on your social media. And Hack Sultan will now post it on Twitter. And then people that are following him will see it and they'll be able to apply, right? Team App may not necessarily write it or post it rather on their social media page or even on their LinkedIn, but they would trust that Hack Sultan will connect them to somebody that can do a good job. So it's so important that you follow people that are like that. Then also another thing that I'll tell you is if those people have communities, you can join those communities, right? So this takes me to my next point: join communities. You don't necessarily have to join a community of job seekers, right? It could be people, just join a community of like-minded people. For you now, you're probably trying to, improve your career, and all of that, you're trying to get a job. So you can, if for example, you want to become a data analyst, join a community of data analysts or techies. If you want to go into content writing, join a community of social media managers, content writers, people in that industry. That way you're able to learn from each other, ask them questions, And I'm in some of those communities, even apart from Ingressive for Good, I'm in some of those communities, and usually I see that they would post some job opportunities in those communities so that community members there can apply for those jobs, right? So it's so important that you join communities. Then another thing that I will tell you is, so also speaking of communities, Ingressive for Good has a network. We call it the I4G network, where we send newsletters of opportunities that we have. So people who are subscribed to our newsletters, usually they're the first people to know about any opportunity that we have, any resources that we have, and also job opportunities as well, not just scholarship opportunities alone. Then there's also something called website career portal. So so on a company's website, right, they will usually have something that they call dream jobs, so to say. So if you check on the website, you might not necessarily see dream jobs written there, but it's called dream jobs, where a company would have a section. So usually if you check like a company's website, you see somewhere that they write careers. You've probably seen something like that before. When you click careers, some of them have, most of them actually have, where if they don't have vacancies, or even if they do, they could use, okay, like for example, let me give you this instance. There was a time that I checked Fenty's website a couple of weeks ago, and I was just going through the job opportunities that they had, right? And I didn't see what I wanted. Then at the end, they wrote, didn't see what you want, fill this form, let's know what you want. When we have an opportunity, we reach out to you. So I filled the form. It was a very short form. It didn't take me up to 2 minutes. I filled the form and I got an email, and they said that, oh, they had, received it. And when they have an opportunity, they will let me know. So companies have things like that, right? Check on their website, go to careers, go through the vacancies that are available. If there is no vacancy that's available, you can fill, if they have that option, most of them do have it, you can fill that form. And then when they have an opportunity, they'll send you an email, right? Then another thing that you could do is also go for events. It's so important that you go for events. So let's say when I'm saying events, I don't necessarily mean weddings, right? So let's say you want to work in tech, for example, go for tech events. If you want to work in a food company, go for food company events. Things that go for events. It doesn't even necessarily have to be tech events. It could be maybe something like GT Banco, and then there's this company that you want to work with, and they are there. Go there, right? And when you're going for events, don't just wear something nice and go. You would see events would have sponsors, right? For example, like last year we had Hackfest, and we had companies. Most of the companies that we had there were tech companies. Most of those companies. And when I'm talking about tech, please don't think that it's only coding. I'm working in tech. I'm not coding. I don't know jack about coding. I'm doing communications, but I'm working in tech. I work fully remote, right? Everybody in my company works fully remote. We're in different parts of the world, right? So it's very, so when I'm saying tech companies, I don't think that I'm only talking about you knowing how to code and software development and data and all of that. No, it applies to everybody. It might not even be a tech company. There are lots of companies these days, especially because of COVID, that have options for you to work remotely, right? So like I was saying about events, you would usually see that they have sponsors, right? So they could have, like last year we had Hackfest, and then we had Mainstack, we had Simfix, we had Exponential Destiny. We had a couple of companies there. So if somebody, let's say you were trying to get a job, right, and you wanted to go for that event, one smart thing that you could do is read about those companies, read about the people in the companies, the founder, the co-founder, just read about what they are doing. If they have something that they are working on, or an interesting project that you like to be involved in, when you go for that event, look for their booth, right? If they are sponsors, they will most likely be wearing their t-shirts or something, right? Go to one of them there and be like, oh, hi, I saw that you guys are doing this thing. I'd like to be involved in it. This is who I am. This is what I can do for you guys. This is how I can bring value to your company, right? That way, you are putting yourself at a position where you're able to, be employed, right? You'll most likely say, okay, please send us your CV, and things like that. And you could get a job offer by doing that. Then another thing that I'll say is this thing, LinkedIn just, started doing it. So I just noticed it, right? I think they just started doing it, where on a company's website, on a company's LinkedIn account, right? So on a company's LinkedIn account, you could, okay. So when you go to a company's LinkedIn account, you see somewhere that they write about. So when you click about and you scroll down a bit, you see a place where they would write interested in working with us. Then you see a button, I'm interested. You click that button, I'm interested. It notifies the company that you are interested in working with them, right? And so if they, of course, they'll get a message. So they go through your profile, they'll go through your LinkedIn profile. So this is the point where you need to, it's so important for you to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Make sure that your LinkedIn is looking good. On your website, on your profile, make sure that you write what you really do. Put a nice clear headshot. Please don't put pictures with Snapchat filters. Nobody's going to take you seriously, right? If you have any certifications, that any courses that you've done, put it there. Certifications, include them there, so that when they look at your profile, they know that you mean business. They can see what you can do, and then they can reach out to you for an interview. But if they come on your profile and they just see, let's say they just see content writer. What's with me a content writer today? I don't know. Let's say they just see content writer and they now see one picture of Snapchat butterfly on your forehead. Like, who is this? They'll just move on. Do you understand? So make sure that, let that be your business card. Come correct. Do you understand? So that's another thing that you could do. Then also there are some platforms that share job opportunities, right? There are platforms like Opportunity Desk. There are platforms like Opportunities for Africans, right? Those platforms, they share opportunities, not just even job opportunities, scholarship opportunities and the likes, right? But of course, there are job opportunities there that you usually share often. Those companies like WinBiz as well, She Leads Africa. Those are some of the companies that some other communities that you could also join to be able to get those opportunities from them. Those are some communities that I personally would share opportunities that we have, scholarship opportunities that we have with those people, right? So you can share with their community. So that's a fast way for you to get remote job opportunities. Then I would also say that, can I stay a few minutes more? Okay, so I know that you've heard all the good stuff about working on your CV and learning important interview tips. That's so important. It's so important that you do that. That's great. But also, when I joined, I noticed that I heard Susan talking about building your online presence, and that is so important. It's super important that you build a personal brand, that you build your online presence. So let me tell you why this is super important, and I'm going to help you to think about it. When somebody reaches out to you, somebody comes to meet you, and they say, "Oh, I have a business on social. And they tell you, "Oh, I have a business, so come and buy from me." The next thing you ask them is, "What's your Instagram account?" And then you check them out on Instagram. You want to know if you can trust them. You want to go through their comments and see if they are credible, right? It's the same thing for business as well. When you reach out to a company and you tell them that, oh, you want to work with them, or there's a vacancy and you apply for it, that's one of the things that they do. They will go through your social media platform. So if you're a troll, please help yourself and delete those tweets that you've been posting. That could be what is hindering your blessing, right? So make sure that, on your social media. So if, for example, they come on your social media and they see that you're already sharing tips about the things that you already know, it's great for you, right? They'll be able to say, "Oh, this person knows this person knows this." They might even say, "Okay, this person doesn't know a lot, but the person has a willingness to learn." Willingness to learn is a skill that a lot of people do not have, right? You have to have a willingness to learn. There's no employer in this world that wants to work with somebody that is not willing to learn, because the truth is, I don't think that, "Oh, I don't have enough experience, I don't know anything." You know something. There's something that you know. And there's something I read in a book, and I really believe it. Everybody that you meet in this life knows something that you don't know. And that includes you. There's something that you know that me, I don't even know, right? So what you know about whatever it is that you want to become, post about it on social media, right? So that when a company decides to check you out on social media, they can see what you're doing. And speaking of social media again, like I said at the beginning, I usually have success story interviews with our beneficiaries, and I've had hundreds of success story interviews. And something that is peculiar to a lot of them is that they talk about how, because we always encourage them that when you're taking a course, share about it, talk about it on social media. You've learned how to do content calendar. Susan will be able to relate with this. Today, you've learned how to do content calendar. Great. Go on social media and write what you learned. Today, I learned yada, 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 and everything. Write a very nice LinkedIn post or on Instagram, wherever it is. And then when you do that, people are able to see that you're learning something. People are able to see that this is what you know. One thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people would now, when we reach out to them, they will now tell us that they got job offers without them even applying. The cohort that Susan is in right now, the I4G marketing cohort that Susan is in, is the second one. The first one we had is at the beginning of the year. That was the first scholarship that we launched. And I interviewed a couple of people. I've interviewed 8 people that have told me that companies reached out to them. They did not reach out to those companies. So all they did was that they shared what they were learning on social media. So all those free courses that you're learning, all those, even this session right now that you're in, that you're learning something from, go online, write what you have learned. You can tag me, you can tag Comfort, you can tag Susan, right? And on LinkedIn, right, write what you have learned. It helps people to see what you are doing. Because the truth is, if people don't know what you're doing, they don't know the kind of opportunities that they will bring to you, right? So those 8 people, they have companies reach out to them to say, we want to hire you. And this is before they even completed the program. Like, how good can it be, right? So there was even a particular lady that said that, I had an interview with her. She told me that she studied English in school. She tried doing HR and it didn't work out. She has not done any job. She tried a business that failed. So she really did not even have any any work experience. Do you understand? And then she started taking the I4G marketing course. On the 5th week, right, into the course, a company reached out to her and said they wanted to hire her because she was sharing things on LinkedIn. She got active on LinkedIn because of the course. So it's not like she was active before. Do you get? And then when they reached out to her, they offered her some money. They told her, okay, this is the amount that we're going to pay you as your salary. She said no, that the money is too small, right? And she turned down the offer. The company reached out to her a couple of days after and said that they wanted to hire her. Her name is Omobola. I'm not telling people Fabu's story. It is true. I interviewed her a couple of weeks ago. I was surprised. This is somebody that did not have any job, any experience in the past. So it is very possible. For you to get job opportunities, even with little or no job experience, right? So another thing that I would say is that don't focus on, oh, I don't know anything. There's something that you know. Now, I'm sure that a number of you here, if not everyone, who's a participant here, probably is trying to switch careers, right? You're trying to go from maybe working in healthcare to going into content writing. I don't know, content writers. I don't know what's with me and people today, right? You're trying to go into content writing or whatever it is, website development, website management, anything. There's something called transferable skills, right? Like I said, I used to be a microbiologist, right? I've had some work experience in working as a research scientist. I worked in about 3 labs, right? So I have some experience working in healthcare before I, switched into communications, right? And I now work remotely. And there's something called transferable skills. So transferable skills are basically those skills that you have developed, the experience that you've had from your previous work experience, and how we can relate to the new job that you're trying to get into. So I'll give you this very important tip. If you're trying to switch, to another career, right? Let's say you want to become a digital marketer, for example, go online. Who is a digital marketer? Read who a digital marketer is. What are the responsibilities of a digital marketer? What makes an excellent digital marketer? You will see skills that will come up. You might see some things like great communication skills, oral and written communication skills. But digital marketing, you may not necessarily need oral like that. I mean, it's good you know how to speak English, or you get my point. So you might see things like learning how, knowing like time management, great research skills, and things like that. Now, let me use myself and let me tell you what I did at the beginning of my career, right? Like I said, I had experience in healthcare and I was trying to switch into communications, right? So one of the things that I highlighted in my interview with Blessing Abeng was I talked about how I have good research skills. So I'd worked in research labs before, right? I'd done some research on HIV, Ebola, and all of that stuff, right? So I told her that I have great research skills. I've worked in so-and-so organization. Coincidentally, she did her NYC, the same place I did my NYSC, different years, of course, right? So I mentioned that I worked in that organization that I worked in, right? So I told her that I had done research on this, and everything. And because I have strong research skills in this area, I'm able to transfer that to working with you and being able to do research. So I already have strong research skills. I also talked about report writing. So where I used to work before, I did a lot of documentation. So I'll document samples, I'll document the temperature of the refrigerators that we used in the lab and all of that. And then because of that, I've developed report writing skills, right? So it's going to help me in working with you to be able to record reports so that you're able to make informed decisions that will keep your operations moving. Do you see how I connected it? So think of things that you have done in the past that will be relevant to what you are doing now. So you see that you actually have skills. So if you came here thinking that you don't know anything, you don't have any skills, you have skills. And if you're a fresh graduate, you have not worked anywhere before, you still have skills. When you were in school, you did projects, right? Whatever departments you were, you did projects, you did assignments, you did something, right? Those things that you did, you can even talk about, maybe you had a position when you were in school where maybe you were the president of your department or something. Talk about that, your leadership skills, how you had to, time management. You can even tell stories of how, there was a time when you guys had a project to do, or maybe an assignment to do, and they put you guys in a group, and you were the group leader, and you were able to organize everybody together to make sure that they did the course. That the challenge that you faced was that, people were not really responding, but you're able to put people together, and you achieved your goal, and you came out first or second or whatever, right? If you did not come out top of the you can just say you guys did very well. Do you understand? So that in itself is leadership skills. Even if it was something that was in your university and you may not have been president of your department, but you were able to lead a group in doing something, that is leadership skill. That is interpersonal skill. That is time management skill. That is organizational skill. Those are 4 skills from just that one experience. So think about the things that you've done in the past and see how you can apply it to what you are doing right now. So does anybody have any question for me? I think I'm done. Hi, Suzanne.
Oh my God. Temi, can we see your face? Is there light now?
You can't see my face. It's really dark. It's really, I'm so sorry. It's really dark.
We want to see your face. I mean, please, everybody, unmute yourself. Drop something in the comment section or chat box or whatever. Drop something about Temi's session. We saved the best for the last. I just knew that Temi was going to come here and blow your mind. I knew it. If you had left before Temi's session, and the replay is going to be paid for. This replay is going to be available, but it's not going to be free. So if you know you missed anything at the beginning, you missed in the middle, or you are missing at the end, you have to pay to listen to this replay. Drop something, tell Temi thank you, tell Temi what you have learned, drop your question. Your session.
If you have a question, I'm here.
Was mind-blowing. I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot myself. See, Esther says she blew the roof off. Ibukun says powerful. Wow. My roof is out already. Hey, help, my roof is no longer here. Help, help, help. Esther says her session was everything. I really, really looked forward to it. I did too. Akinwande says, please, I need more explanation on posting whatever is learned on social media. I think he's asking, or she's asking, how do I post what I have learned on social media?
Okay.
Esther says, please, for someone pursuing communications as a career, what community do you recommend?
All right.
Yeah, the floor is yours.
Okay. So let me answer. The first question was
the first question is communication. Any community for communications?
Okay. Okay. So community for communications department. Okay. So some of the things that you'll be doing in communication would be email marketing. You'd be doing a bit of social media as well. You'd be doing things like brand storytelling. You'd be doing things like branding. Communications and branding, well, it's different, but yeah, intertwined. Marketing is different from communications, but it's also intertwined, right? So you might I mean, having a good knowledge of those other things would help you. So, for example, there's a social media orga. She has this Telegram group called Lord, I think it's Social Media Haven or so, right? So I'm actually there, but I'm not very active. But it's a good community. I've been there a few times where I'll just, just go through, right? And I can tell, there was even a time that I checked the group and I think she was going through people's CVs. I don't know if she still does that. That was this year, early this year. She did something like that. She was going through people's CVs and, she was giving them reviews. So if you join that social media community, you will be able to get opportunities from there, even if you really want to do communications. But social media is still a part of communication, so it's still beneficial. Do you get? So, for example, you could join most of the industry leaders. Like there's this guy, what's his name? Milton Tutu. Milton of Seller, right? Seller is the platform. You still using Seller now, so you should know it. SELAR. Right, they have a community. You can join sellers community. But okay, I was talking about Milton, sorry. So Milton,
is it just me, or I can actually not hear Temi?
Oh my goodness, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Susan, it's just you.
Okay,
go ahead.
Susan, please, let's see if it's just you. Okay, fine. So yeah, I was talking about Milton. So Milton recently started something. If you check him on Twitter, just type Milton Tutu, right? TU Milton MILTON, then TU on Twitter. He started this marketing community, right? It's called Triblob. If you check his Twitter account, you see it. It's a community for marketers, right? So just follow them on Twitter, right? They share tips on marketing and stuff like that. There's also, just check people that you can just go on Instagram, right, and just type marketing. You see a couple of people that will come up, right? Go through their content, of course. Communications, go through their content, of course. You'll be able to see the ones that really post, good stuff, and they have communities. A lot of people that create content actively on social media usually have communities, so you can join their communities. And the good thing about people like that is that because they're intentional, they're trying to build a community of people that actually trust them. They're giving their all. So whatever it is that they're sharing with you on that community, they're trying to make sure that you actually succeed, because for them, it's not just about you, it's also about them as well. So you're assured that whatever opportunities you will see there, they would have verified this to make sure that nobody's dragging them on Twitter. And also because they're trying to expand, you understand that if they can help you, you can talk to them about other people, and those other people will join the community, their community will grow. Do you understand? So they're committed to your growth. So you could join communities like that. And somebody else asked a question about where is it again? Yes, about how to share. I can't find this, but I remember it was something about how to share your things that you have learned on social media. So say, for example, now from this session that you have learned, that you have listened, you can go on LinkedIn, right, and type, today I joined the session. It was super amazing. I learned from Susan. I learned from Comfort. Comfort spoke about email marketing. Temilola spoke about how we can find and where we can find remote jobs, and they share some important tips. Some of the things that I learned are: one, transferable skills. This is how I can, I now know that, even if I have a background in healthcare or engineering, for example, I can switch into digital marketing by things like that. Oh, I learned about this. So just write out the things that you have learned about. That is a way that you can share what you have learned. That way, people are also able to see that not only are you building a career in digital marketing or whatever it is that you're trying to get into, but you're also committed to learning. So that shows that you have that skill, willingness to learn, right? Also, it could even be that you're reading a book, right? For example, I'm reading this book, This is Marketing, right? I have some things in my draft. I haven't posted it yet, but there's some things that I've learned from that book, right? And I've written them down, and I'm like, I'm going to share these things, right? Now, This is Marketing is obviously related to what I am doing. So I can write about it on social media. It could even be that you're reading a book. It could even be a novel, a storybook, right, that you're reading. And then you can find something there and see how you can relate it to what you do, right? And then you now share it. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes,
Hello,
Temi, we can hear you.
Okay, yes. So you can find a way to relate it to what you're doing. Or it doesn't even necessarily have to be about what you're doing. I remember having a session with Poma Walbush. They call her LinkedIn Queen, right? I had a session with a couple of weeks ago, and she talked about how it could even be random things, like you post your picture and you talk about how, oh, this year you're learning to build a better reading habit. For example, you've read 2 books this year and talk about the books that you have learned. That has nothing to do with your career, but it's still showing another side of you. So the truth is, even on LinkedIn, people don't necessarily only want to see, I went for this event today, I met Bill Gates, I met Mark Zuckerberg. That's cool, but we also want to know that you're a human being and there are other sides to your life as well. LinkedIn is becoming a lot more social, right? So see how you can also post things like that. I hope I answered your question well. Does anybody else have a question from? Okay, how do you advise someone transitioning careers to customer success? Your session was impactful. Thank you. Okay, Udofia. Okay, so transitioning, I think I already talked about this, but I'll say it again just in case you missed it. Transitional careers to customer success. So go online and Google who is a customer success representative or associate or intern, whatever, right? What makes a great customer success representative, right? Read those qualities. You see some skills will definitely come out, right? Read about those skills, understand, what they mean, read what they mean, right? And then start to build those skills. So I'll quickly put this in. Don't ever feel like, oh, I'm not good at public speaking. I cannot. Okay, let me use for customer success. You can say, oh, I'm not very good with writing, for example, because so I'm not very good with typing, right? I'm not very good with oral communication. Sorry, written communication, right? You can always go online to learn it. Let me tell you about myself. I'm a very shy person. People that have met me in real life, they know that I'm actually really shy. And I also felt like I was not great with public speaking. A couple of weeks ago, this month, actually, I paid for a public speaking class, right? I paid about 36K for that class, right? Why? Because I was trying to build my public speaking skills. And I felt like I wasn't eloquent. And to be honest, I could ramble a lot. I think I even did that in this session a little bit, but I'm way better than before. So if you feel like, oh, you've gone through these skills, right? And you've seen that, there are some things that I'm not really good at here. Maybe I'm not very good with time management, or I'm not very good with organization, or I'm not very good with data, and things like that. You can say, okay, fine, this thing that I'm not good in, I'm going to learn it. Have a growth mindset. Don't have a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset is say, well, I'm not very good at speaking. That's how I am. That's how they created me. But a growth mindset will say, okay, fine, I'm not great with public speaking. Or let's say this skill in my career, let's say data analysis. I'm not very great with data analysis, but I can learn it. Go on YouTube. The internet has made things easy for us. Go on YouTube, right? Check online. You can even watch TEDx videos. I watch TEDx videos a lot. Watch TEDx videos. Go on Medium. Read free articles. There are some amazing articles that you can read on Medium and learn that thing. Don't feel like, oh, because you cannot do something, it means that you're stupid or you're inadequate. You're not. The only thing is just that there's a knowledge gap. So fill that gap by learning how you can become that thing. The experts that you see today, they were rookies. There was a time that they were clueless. There was a time I studied microbiology. There was a time if you ask more social media management, I don't even know what it was. Do you understand? But now I've built a whole career in branding and communications, right? So you can learn anything. You can learn anything, right? Ask questions. That thing that you feel like you don't know, go and learn about it. Continue doing it until you become better, you become perfect, until you reach that goal that you're trying to reach. Jones, and keep doing it. The more you do it, the better you get. Let me tell you, now at Ingressive For Good, I now handle success stories. But there was a time that I wasn't great with storytelling, right? And I remember talking to Blessing Abeng about it, and Blessing had a meeting where she spoke to me about storytelling. And she taught me how to do it. And I started writing success stories. In fact, the success story thing was not even the responsibility wasn't for just me, we're two. But I started handling it so much that the other lady said, you know what, Temilola, I want to do this thing, I dash you. Do you get? And I started doing it so much that now, if you mention success stories at Ingressive For Good, they'll say it's Temilola that is responsible. And I'm able to write those stories. I'm better. I'm not as great as I want to be yet, and I'm going to keep improving. So the more I do it, the better I get at it. Do you understand? So that thing that you feel like, I'm not really great at this thing, you can learn it. Don't let anybody tell you anything. There's nothing that you cannot learn. Okay, does anybody else have a question? Esther said my network was breaking. I'm sorry, push novice. Susan, I think I'm done.
Temi, thank you. I want to give you a hug. Comfort, I want to give you guys a hug.
Virtual hug.
I want virtual hug. Virtual hug. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
I did not, I knew that I was bringing in the best. I mean, I have interacted with you both personally. You guys are my friend. We've talked a lot. I knew that you guys were a bag of knowledge. So I knew it wasn't a mistake bringing you guys on board, but you both have outdone yourselves. You have shared, you have emptied yourself. Everybody keeps saying thank you. Taiwo says thank you, Temi. This is so inspiring. Temi, thank you. Thank you. Very true, Susan. Thank you. We keep saying thank you. Comfort, please say thank you to Comfort. Send Comfort virtual hugs. We are going to drop a link to the Ingressive For Good network on the group. If you're not on the WhatsApp group, go and join the WhatsApp group.
Susan, so just to quickly add that, so we have some resources that could help people. So for example, you're trying to build a career in data. We have an ebook that will teach you how you can do that, and it's for newbies, right? So you don't have to have any knowledge of it at all, right? From the course that Susan is taking, she will tell you that everything that is there, even if you're completely clueless, it would help you, right? So we have an ebook on building a career in data. We have one on a LinkedIn checklist that you can use. It's like a guide to help you know how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. We have a couple of resources, right, that you can read. We have a CV writing ebook as well. So just go to Ingressive For Good at Ingressive for number 4, then good, right? And click the link in our bio. All the resources are there. You also see the link to join the I4G network. There's also the masterclass scholarship program going on right now. So apply for the scholarship program. Yeah, that's it.
Temi, I love you so much. Thank you. See, everyone who is on this call, I want you to know that the only thing that is impossible is what you tell yourself. Nothing is impossible. I studied physics. I'm now working full-time as a copywriter. Please tell me the correlation. Temi studied microbiology. She's now into communications. Comfort. In fact, if you hear Comfort story, Comfort story will blow your mind. And sneak peek, let me just tell you something. I'm going to reorganize this thing again. Temi is currently in one school like that. I'll not tell you the name of the school, but she's currently in one school like that, learning branding. She's refusing to give up. I'm also going to be attending the school in August. Comfort is also going to be attending the school this year. So we are going to redo this thing to tell you about how to brand yourself on social media this time around. Start small. And I don't want to hear excuses of, I don't have a phone and my videos are not clear. You saw that we were hosting this webinar. My ring light is directly in front of me. They took lights in the middle of this webinar, but I was saying no to the devil. Temi left school. She kept telling me, Susan, I don't know if I'll be able to make it. I'm currently in school. I'm on my way. Rain beat her. She came. See, Comfort, Rain beats Comfort. Comfort told me, Susan, I'm not yet home. She kept working on that ebook. She was working on it since last night because I did not even give her the details early enough. The point I'm trying to make is that if you are determined, you will do it. I'm grateful for the 21 people who made it to the end of this session. Like I mentioned earlier, there are resources for you to start putting yourself out there. There are content ideas. If you don't even know what to begin talking about, I've created content ideas for you already, for you to know what you want to begin talking about. Go to my store. Temi is going to be dropping a lot of resources. Esther is going to drop link to all our social media pages on the WhatsApp group. Please, I just need one favor from you. Go on the WhatsApp group and buzz that WhatsApp group. Tell people what they missed. Tell people what you learned. Then please take a picture of yourself right now. Post on your Instagram stories. Post on your WhatsApp stories. Tag Temi. Tag myself. Temi, I'm going to drop. Temi is at Temilola Otunla on Instagram. Comfort is the copy babe on Instagram. I am Run with Susan with Z on Instagram. Tag us, post about it on your stories. Begin to talk. That's a step to actually talking so that people will know that you have started to acquire knowledge. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. Thank you so much, Temi. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Oh, I like this. Somebody says it was indeed, I have learned quite a lot this evening. It was indeed a good use of my time. We are so glad that we were able to deliver. Comfort, I will tell you guys thank you.
Can I say something when you're done?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, based on what Temi said and what you've been talking about since, guys, see, putting yourself out there, you don't have to be good. Trust me. I know what that means. I know what that means because I remember the first video I posted on Instagram. It was terrible. Trust me. The first carousel I created to teach anything was horrible. In fact, I've archived them, right? But did I stop? Sometimes
No.
I even leave it. Sometimes I leave it because I want to be able to see how much growth I have seen in my own life. Because once you start doing it, you'll start seeing better ways you can do it. But if you do not start, you will never see that better way to do it. You will be, and trust me, until you start, you are a beginner.
Yeah.
If you don't start, you are not a beginner. You are just there. Until you start, that's when you become a beginner. And that's when you learn. If you have learned to the point of being an expert level, in your mind, you are just learning, but you didn't do. Once you start doing, you're that beginner. Even if what you learn is at expert level. So do not be scared to start. Do not be scared to put yourself out there. And when we say put yourself out there, it doesn't mean that you have to now go and pack things from Google. No. Put what you know. People want to learn from you at the stage that you're in. Because trust me, your stage 1 is somebody else's stage 0. Your stage 2 is somebody else's stage 1. So share that stage and help people learn to get to that stage. All right? That's just what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Comfort.
So,
I love you. Temi wants to say something.
yes, hi people. So just like what Comfort was saying, there's this, I have this, I don't know if it's a weird habit, but I do it anyway. Where when I'm feeling discouraged, right, I just go to people that I follow on social media that I feel like they're doing well, and I scroll down to their first post.
Temi,
And I
say
just
that
start,
again. Please say that over again.
so I scroll down to their first post and I start scrolling back up. I'm able to
I do
see
that.
that these people they have gone through a process to get here.
They've
Like
gone
I can
through a
get
lot.
it. Do you understand? I can see their progress. For example, if you look at Salem King's post on social media, you scroll down, you see how he was very slim. He was just always shouting, you know, and everything. But
with big
even if
head.
he's still using, yes, even if his content has always been black and white, right? But you can even tell from the black and white that the equipment that he's using, it has changed. Do you understand? Yeah. So if you don't, the first, whatever, you see, no matter how smart you think you are, the first work you will do is to be rubbish.
Yes.
The second one will be better than the first one. The third one will be better than the second one. Susan mentioned that I'm currently in a school, I'm in an academy. And today we did our exhibition. We did the presentation. I challenged myself to do a presentation. I didn't know what to do it, but my classmates were like, just do it. So I did it, and I did it really well, right? But that exhibition that we did, before we could get that name, that was like the fourth name that we came up with, right? We had the same idea, but we had to keep tweaking it to make it better. Do you understand? If we had given, because the first presentation that we had, in fact, they trashed us, right? And we went and we improved this, and we had 4 different names. We had to work on our brand story over and over again before we got to this one that we are at right now. And we did so well. In fact, just were like, wow, this is amazing. Do you understand? So imagine if we are giving up the first one and say, well, we're not good at this thing, let's just do it our house. We will not have gotten to this 4th one that was really
Which
good.
house? We'll send you back.
So keep doing it. Continue. It gets better. I promise you, it gets better.
I feel so emotional. I feel really emotional because I know where I started from. Talking about devices, I remember I was using one Samsung phone that was glitching. Whenever I post reels, you will see one green line. I used to feel so frustrated. When I was working my 9 to 5, I would leave my house very early. I'll run to the office so that before my colleagues come to work, I'm able to shoot videos. Immediately I enter the office, I will hear the cleaners making noise. I cannot shoot videos. Some days I'll be so frustrated that tears will begin to drop from my eyes. Any slight opportunity I have, some days when my boss steps out, I'll run into my boss's office. I'll go and shoot video. I'll post. I was just doing it gradually. After a while, I changed the Samsung phone. Temilola says, I remember. Temi, it was so frustrating that period. I changed from a Samsung phone. I started to use an Oppo phone. From an Oppo phone, I just got delivery of my iPhone. Even me that I'm organizing this webinar, I just got delivery of my own iPhone yesterday. So your device is not even an excuse. Start with what you have. If you don't start now, when the iPhone comes, when the gadget comes, when the camera comes, you will not do anything. I feel so emotional now with this session because, I mean, our lives have literally changed. Literally. I've stayed in a month. People have called me for speaking engagement just to speak for 1 hour, and they will pay me 250,000 naira, 300,000 naira. There was a speaking engagement I had. I spoke for 30 minutes. They gave me 80,000 naira that I did not even plan for. It happens. It is real, and you too can do it. Your device is not an excuse. Your background is not an excuse. Paint one corner of your house white if you want to shoot video. If you think background is your problem, go and buy wallpaper. Put it in one corner. My workspace is one corner of my house. My workspace is just one small corner of my house. I bought a table, I bought a seat, and I put it there. When I want to shoot video, this is the only thing you will see. You will not see what is in front. There are a lot of content creators who are living in ghetto places, but they just put one small space there just so that they can be seen. And I am sitting in my house in Kubwa, Abuja, and I'm working with a company in Dallas, Texas. How amazing can that be? Temi we sit in a house in Abuja, and she will work with a company in the US. She'll work with a company in Lagos. Comfort will sit in a house in Cuba and work with companies in fact, Comfort, you need to show me your plug, that plug for international jobs. So guys, please don't allow this session to be a waste. Don't use, Comfort says use cotton, put black cotton, put white cotton behind, and shoot your videos. People don't even care. By the time you blow, they'll be the ones that will say, hey, and this person was doing it gradually that year. Anyway, with that, we have come to the end of today's session. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Like I mentioned, go and tag us on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. I want to see your reviews on WhatsApp. I mean, we did not collect any dime from you to organize this session. A lot has gone into putting this session together. The least you can do is to go on social media, go on Instagram, go and follow us, go and talk about this session. I love you so much, and I look forward to your success story. Bye,
Sorry,
everyone.
I want to add something. Wait.
Oh, you want to add something? Okay.
Yes. So when you mentioned that Temi is in Abuja, I'm currently not in Abuja. I don't know why Susan said that. Anyway.
Yeah, you come back now. Won't you come back? Temi, don't you plan on coming back?
I do. I just wanted to mention that the job I was doing when I was in Abuja, I'm still doing it. And this is one benefit of having a remote job. I'm not in ABJ right now, but I'm still doing my job like as if I did not just change location. I can still go to school. So I have that flexibility. So this is a benefit. Let this motivate you to go for that remote job, right? You can get it, right? You can literally work from it. If I want to travel to Cotonou today, I can travel and my work is not affected. Do you understand? So please, you can do it. We're rooting for you guys.
We're rooting for you. You can turn on your video. You can turn on your cameras rather. And then we have come to the end of this session. Thank you, everyone. I want to see your faces. Thank you. Let me see your faces. Let me see your faces. Thank you. Christopher, I can see you. Thank you. Joy, thank you, everyone, for joining in. Thank you. I can see the smile on Joy's face. Joy is so excited. Auntie Laditi, thank you. Ibukun, thank you. Thank you, everyone. It was such an amazing session. Please don't allow this thing to just be information. Taiwo, thank you. Isioma, thank you for joining in. Don't allow this to be information. Use this information you have gotten here to please transform your life. And see you guys on the other side of success. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.